if we had a PowerPoint why you should fire Ryan Pace, Ryan Pace is responsible for over half of Mike Glennon's career earnings. On today's Part of My Take, Week 15, fastest 2 minutes, and then we recap every game. Kind of sad week because we have weird football schedules and everything's all out of order because of COVID. But we will talk about every game. A couple thrillers, a couple great games. Lions, unbelievable. Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year. We'll get to that. We have Football Guy of the Week. We have Who's Back of the Week. And a great Monday show for you. There's only a few Football Mondays left in the calendar year, so embrace these shows. And we're brought to you by our friends at Tostitos. Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. If you're watching football with your friends, you need two things, a TV and some Tostitos. End of list. No get-togethers official until some Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL, get served. Fans can get in the game with a custom recipe for their favorite team at Tostitos.com/recipes. Tostito, the official chip and dip of the NFL. I love Tostitos. You love Tostitos. We all love Tostitos. It is the best way to watch football, whether you're watching it now, Monday Night Football, Tuesday Night Football. It's Tostitos all day, every day, now that we have football every single day this week. Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. Go find out new recipes right now at Tostitos.com/recipes. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. Today is Monday, December 20th, week 15. We start in Detroit, where the Cardinals, as 13-point favorites, make easy work of the Lions. Wait, huh? What? Huh? It says the Lions beat the Cardinals 30-12. Is someone jerking me off? What the hell's going on? Well then, we start in Detroit, where Amon-Ra St. What Can Brown Do For You continues his hot streak, and Craig Kilborn Reynolds was resourceful. The Cardinals are now left wondering, is Cliff Dingleberry the right coach for the job, as Kyler Bill Murray and his coach are in Groundhog's Day with a second straight late season swoon. Lions 30, Cardinals 12. That's why they play the game, Tej.
To Pittsburgh, where it was the LeBeau Bowl, and as Jim Nancy Reagan reminded us, everyone loves Dick. In a touching tribute to the mid-'80s, the Tennessee Titans suffered a Chernobyl-like meltdown after Bud Dupree was pushed to his limits following a core injury. Thankfully, the G.O. Pittsburgh Steelers have Bush to fill his shoes. Bend but don't break Roethlisberger is a month and a half late on daylight savings time, falling forward twice for a touchdown. Long Island Ice TJ Watt was very strong and delivered multiple shots, and Titans fans were singing, "I'm gonna love you forever." Randy Travis Bullock, but the Steelers will own this rivalry forever and ever. Hayden. Steelers 19, Titans 13.
Some spread. In Western New York, where Gabe Kapler-Davis looked like he hit the sauce before this one, scoring 2 touchdowns. Speaking of Davis, let us be the first to wish Anthony Davis a speedy recovery after the vicious attack his own teammate LeBron James laid upon his knee. Posh Allen is back in the NFL's elite, and be advised, Stephon Quiggs is back to making magic on the green screen that is a football field. The Panthers are now 0-12 in the last 12. Who did this, fam? Newton starts as the skull emojis surround the Carolina locker room. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Bills 31, Panthers 14.
What? Got the Cocoa Boom?
What?
And to the Meadowlands we go, where Pepsi Day was a far cry from the 80s when LT was taking all the free Coke. It was not quite a miracle on the Hudson for the G-Men, as Prescott is piloting the boys, playing Dak Dak Goose, breaking the plane. Mike's hard Glennonade got his long neck cracked open, and New York's secret Manhattan Project, Jake the Atomic Fromm, trying to prove that although Danny Dimes might not be the Hirohito they want, he is the Hirohito they deserve. The Dallas Cowboys, 21. The New York Football Giants, 6.
Down to Miami. The Jets ordered up a Braxton Cranberrios juice touchdown in the first quarter and had everyone asking, what, you got your period? Duke Johnson & Johnson had not one shot, but 2 shots at the end zone to boost the Dolphins' offense. The Miami quarterback threw 2 touchdown volos, and Christian Worm Wilkins found his soil in the end zone. The Dolphins have won 6 in a row, Miami 31 and the Jets 24.
In Jacksonville, Davis Pills dosed up Brandon. Too many TDs. Kitchen. Oh, fuck. I fucked it up. Boom.
Keep going, Teach.
In Jacksonville, Davis Pills dosed up Brandon. Too many TDs in the kitchen cooks for 2 scores. Huh? And Tremont Will Smith said, welcome to Jacksonville, where the players play, as he took one back 98 yards to the house. Maybe it wasn't Urban's fault after all? Texans beat Jaguars 30-16. Some spread.
At Mile High, points were rare in the first half, but Evan, have no McFear, son. Evan's foot is here. The rookie made 3 field goals, including a 58-yarder. Meanwhile, the Broncos hung around when Tim Patrick made things dramatic and the Bengals' lead became climactic as Denver fans got ecstatic on a celebration that was problematic. But in the end, Bro Burrow said, "We dem Boyds," when he threw a touchdown to Tyler to seal the deal for Cincinnati. Bengals 15, Broncos 10.
Fucking bars, Boom.
Bars.
To the big bell bottom we go, where Jimmy Garoppolo got his nose bloodied from just a tiny Arden key bump. But the 49ers have a Greg Kittle thing called love. Youngway Coup Runnings, and Atlanta season is going downhill like a bobsled team as the Falcons are falling far down the NFC South Park, with Coach Smith demands his players respect his authority and singing, Kyle's mom is a big old pits, big old pits, big old pits. 49ers 31, Falcons 13.
We finish in Baltimore, where Ravens fans started the day saying, miss you so much for Lamar Janet Jackson and his hurt ankle. But it was Tyler who stunt lead on the haters with a great performance in relief. Aaron, he should be in jail or prison or both. Rodgers found the end zone 3 times, and AJ Tim Dillon scored a touchdown and reminded everyone that touchdown is exactly what Bill Clinton did on Jeffrey Epstein's plane multiple times. Is John Harbaugh addicted to going for 2? Does he have a 2-point addiction? A problem with 2 points? The Packers take down the Ravens 31-30. And that is week 15. A little bit different because for the first time in a very long time, we didn't all watch football together due to COVID protocols. PFT is still fighting the Coco. So
I have an announcement to make real quick, actually.
Okay.
I took a rapid test today. Tested negative, boys.
There we go. Okay.
We're back. I drank enough C4 that my cells got fucking swollen and aggressive. I drank so much water that I pissed this COVID right out.
So we might be back in studio together on Tuesday, but so it is the COVID episodes, the COVID tapes, the COVID files for this show. Everyone is remote. I'm in the studio, and we broke up the boomers. Everyone wrote some, and we had Hank, Jake, and Billy chip in. I'm just gonna say it, Jake. He won the chip in. He was
MVP.
incredible. That was incredible. Incredible job by Jake. So
I know that Jake could rap like that. And I also think that this is Hank's first time doing boomers, right?
It is.
I thought you did one. I feel like you've done one. I've
probably done something like a line or two.
Yeah, some PMT historian will correct us with that.
I've written lines before, just not
done it.
Yeah,
not
performed.
See,
there have been a couple times when it's been like featuring Hank Lockwood. But this was the first time you get a full verse.
But it was good. It was good that we all chipped in. That's called teamwork. There, it is weird not watching football with you guys, but we got to talk Week 15. We're watching the Saints-Bucks game right now. It's like probably end of the third quarter. The Bucks are struggling mightily with the Saints. When that game goes final, we'll recap it. So let's get into the weekend of football, and we got to start with Saturday night. Saturday night, Colts 27, Patriots 17. Hank, before I go to you, I will just say it out loud. I'm officially nervous about my pinky. If you don't remember, the Colts are my pinky team. I am officially nervous about the tip of my pinky. I spent Saturday night looking at the nail on my left pinky being like, this might be gone. It might just be a nub. But yeah, the Colts, that was a win the Colts like needed, and it felt like the biggest win the Colts have had in a very long time.
Well, they beat the Bills like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true. But the Bills weren't the number one team in the AFC, given, going into Saturday night. So, and the way they did it with running the ball. Jonathan Taylor's an absolute monster. And if you are someone who's rooting against the Colts, which I put myself in that category because of my pinky, that game gives me great concern because Carson Wentz played so poorly and they still found a way to win. He was 5 for 12 for 57 yards, and they still won that game, mostly due to their defense and Jonathan Taylor being incredible.
This was a big time game where going into it, everybody was saying, just reminding everyone about the whole, Bill Belichick will take away your biggest strength. That's what Bill Belichick does. He's not going to let Jonathan Taylor beat you. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened. Like you said, Carson Wentz 5 of 12 for 57 yards, and Jonathan Taylor just straight up beat you. Although Jonathan Taylor should have gone down on that last carry, as our good friend Pete Prisco pointed out, should have gone down before he reached the end zone. There was a selfish play by Jonathan Taylor. I don't think it's a bad thing, though, for Hank and the rest of the Patriots fans out there. And the reason why is I actually think they needed to get their ass kicked a little bit. This Patriots team hasn't really gotten chewed out in a while by Bill Belichick. So now, as our good friend Julian Edelman would say, he's got some ass chewing material. Bill Belichick's going to be living inside the Patriots' asses this week. And I think they're probably going to be better in the long term for it.
He did look extraordinary after the game, like extra angry at the media. And then there was a report today, I don't know if you guys saw, but Mac Jones and some of the Patriots essentially said they had a terrible week of practice and they completely botched the bye week. Not enough energy in practice, not practicing well. So, which is very unlike a Bill Belichick team. But I agree with you, PFT. Like, you can come away from it and be like, oh, the Patriots were flying too high. They had to lose at some point. Better now than in January. On the flip side, the Chiefs now have a stranglehold on the 1 seed, and the Chiefs have, if they win out, which would be incredible given the fact the Chiefs were 3-4, and we all were saying what's wrong with the Chiefs, the Super Bowl might go through Arrowhead. And after seeing what happened on Saturday night, Mac Jones on the road in a hostile environment, big game, it has to make you a little bit concerned. No, Hank?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, he's a rookie. Obviously they won in Arrowhead a few years ago, but that was with Brady. I mean, it was kind of like the other games they lost where they were in it. They made some mistakes, but it wasn't like they got their doors blown off per se. I think the Saints was the only one that was really, really bad. I don't know. The block punt, they've had 3 block punts this year. That's very also unlike Belichick. That kind of was the make or break in the game. They dropped a bunch of interceptions. I kind of agree with what PFT was saying, though. Like I was saying a couple weeks ago, they might have been peaking too soon. If they had won out, they would have been due for a loss. That might have happened in the playoffs. Like PFT said,
There you go.
This might have woken them up a little bit. Belichick's going to be able to get into them. They'll refocus after the bye week, and kind of this is the start of season 2. This is the start of the real season.
Oh,
I like it. No,
okay.
You know what it is, Hank? It's like in TV shows where they bring them back for a very anticipated season. They break the season up into 2 parts.
Yes.
Like The Sopranos in that final season where they broke it up when they were going after Phil Leotardo, and then we had to come back to see them shoot him and have the car run over his head.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they're doing right now. I did get Julian has been actually like sending me little voice memos on Sundays.
He does that. He's voice memos, not text, which is
he's a big voice memo guy. And it's hard because I wanted to save one of the clips, but I don't know how to save the clips yet on my phone because they disappear. It's like that chat. It's really good technology. But one of the things that he said was they need some Bill motherfucking. They need Bill to start motherfucking the team a little bit. And I agree entirely. I actually think that the way that they've been winning recently, with Mac Jones really not doing anything at all, has been bad for Mac Jones because he hasn't been able to make those mistakes. And they say like you learn 3 times as much from a mistake as you do from something that you do correctly. Mac Jones is going to learn so much this week.
Yes. He had moments where it looked like he was kind of figuring it out, but they got too far behind. And I don't think the Patriots aren't built for that. Like they're a defense, run the ball. Mac Jones has, he does a really good job of like keep moving the change. I know these are all cliches, but it really like the Patriots are one gigantic football cliche this year and how they've won their games. So to get behind, have to come back on the road. 2 other notes from this game. I totally forgot until they mentioned it, but it is very funny. We the angle of Josh McDaniels, the Colts having a revenge game against Josh McDaniels for that time that he was their coach for a second and then decided not to be. That's always funny. I wish I had remembered that. And then what was my other thought? Fuck. I'm gonna
the rivalry's back on.
The rivalry's back on. No,
I can't wait to see this on Hard Knocks.
Oh yes, thank you, Hard Knocks. So I am nervous about my pinky. I do think that as long as the Titans can win, I was looking at it, if the Colts win out and the Titans lose 2 of their last 3, the Colts can win the AFC South, which would make me a lot more anxious about my pinky because right now, as it currently sits, the Colts have to win 3 road games just to get to the Super Bowl, and that's Carson Wentz going on the road, winning 3 road games. I like my chances. But there were people who were saying, and it got me a little maybe too woke, that the NFL, what's the best way to breathe some life into a dying franchise? Oh, how about Hard Knocks of the Super Bowl champions being filmed during the season? That makes me nervous.
Yeah, I think that's something that you should definitely be nervous about. The NFL, it would not be above them to have the Colts do this and go on a run. Number one, they get a lot of ratings just because people would be talking about your pinky. Number two, they need to have a storyline. They can't have this just end up the Colts narrowly missing the playoffs and fizzling out at the end of the year. But I think the way things are going right now, it's trending more in the direction of the Colts they are peaking at the right time right now. And they are officially my don't look now team in the AFC. So it's the Niners of the NFC. I'm not looking now at the Colts in the NFC.
Yeah, no, they definitely have a formula, and it's scary. But I just got to keep reminding myself, Carson Wentz. And he tried to give away the game because he is Carson Wentz, and he's just goofy. And I just don't. If he has to go on the road, Carson Wentz on the road, come on. Don't be worried. But all right, let's move on because the Colts have the Cardinals on Saturday, I believe, which will be a very big test for them, although the Cardinals are fading. And then they finish with the Raiders and Jaguars. So if they beat the Cardinals, there's a good chance they could win the AFC South. All right, next game, the Steelers-Titans. This was an all-time Tomlin rah-rah game. It started with the Titans stomping on the Steelers logo, which we talked about last week. Never touch another man's logo. Now it is 0-2 in back-to-back weeks of Will Compton teams or former teams stomping on logos, then losing the game. But this game was the Steelers just are addicted to starting slow and being in I think they've had 3 weeks in a row they've had we need to save our season with this second half moments. They have started the last three games. They're 2-1 in the last 3 games. They've been outscored 43-6 in the first half. 43-6. Mm-hmm. So this one was no different in the first half. It looked like the Titans were cruising. And then the Steelers defense just woke up and basically won this game for them. I don't even we love Ben. We want one more year. But this was, if you could give a game ball, it'd go to the entire Steelers defense because they won this game with 4 turnovers.
Our virtual game ball
goes
to the entire Steelers defense. The official virtual game ball, part of my take. I think that's a pretty good assessment of where things went with this because the Titans defense they're still really good. They're giving up 200 yards a game, but they just keep losing in good performances. So it almost feels like I want to be the first person to be like Ryan Tannehill is who we thought he was, but my brain is still back in 2017 when Ryan Tannehill sucked. He's been pretty good for the last several years, but he does need a competent run game. You can't have Ryan Tannehill go out there and just he's the guy. He needs to have an option that'll make the defense honest. And when he doesn't have that, then they just tee off on him.
Yeah.
TJ Watt was awesome today, as he has been whenever he's been in the game. But I think if I had to give a second game ball, I would give it to Big Ben just for that. The part of my play of the day was Big Ben's back-to-back quarterback sneaks. He hadn't run a quarterback sneak all year. He did it from the 1-yard line, fell down. And the most hilarious part of that was the first one, he sprints forward half a yard, falls down very slowly, and then he just lays on the ground for about 16 seconds, face down. He looked like Tyron Woodley after the fight, just his face was on the goal line. One, because he was trying to show the ref that the ball had crossed the goal line during the play. That's that's what he was saying he was doing, but he was just catching his breath for like 16 seconds. Now, he looked like a dead man on the ground. Then he got up and everyone's like, there's no chance that they're probably going to have to take Big Ben out of the game and let somebody else take a snap after that half-yard run he just had. But then he just fell forward again and got into the end zone. That was a touching moment.
I think you guys all watched on Red Zone. I was in the office, so I got to see all. It was actually nice. There was 6 games on, so I had all 6 games on. Big Ben also had another unbelievable play, which probably didn't make it to Red Zone because it was completely unremarkable, where there was a blitz. I think it was in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter, and he basically just chucked the ball to Najee Harris standing next to him, being like, here, you get smushed by the defense. Like, it wasn't a designed run. It wasn't any, it was just like, hot potato, here, you take this. Because he is self-preservation Ben, even though he got lit up too on that RPO, which I don't know why they're running RPOs with Big Ben, but they were, and he got fucking smoked on that. This game though, TJ Watt is, I know he won't win it, but he should win Defensive Player of the Year. And I know that Browns fans would be like, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's been incredible. Myles Garrett will probably win Defensive Player of the Year. But if you're talking about impact on a team, TJ Watt has 17 and a half sacks, and he's played 10 full games. So the Steelers, when he's playing, they're 7-3. When he's either missed a game or gone out of a game, which happened in the Vikings game and the Lions game, they're 0-3-1. So like he does everything for them. You know what I mean? And their defense still gets gashed running the ball. Like they get run on nonstop, but they made enough plays and 4 turnovers. I think to your Ryan Tannehill point, it's just Ryan Tannehill is like, when you take away Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, and Julio Jones, he's not good, which is not like a knock on Ryan Tannehill. It's just, I mean, he is who we thought we were. Like if you take away guys for Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, I think they'll still be able to show flashes. Ryan Tannehill, when you take away everything from him, he's just a guy.
This is why I hate Ryan Tannehill, and probably always will, because I was always saying he's going to go back to who I thought that he was for like 2.5 years. And then he just kept doing it. So I had to admit that I was wrong about Ryan Tannehill, and now he's good. So there's no chance in hell I'm ready to go back and be like, see, I told you I was right, because I already admitted I was wrong.
Right.
He's fucking me over on my take. So let that be a lesson to all the youngsters out there, aspiring podcasters. Never, ever admit that you're wrong, because if you just wait long enough, you'll end up being right.
Yeah, because he'll retire, and you'll be like, yeah, he retired because he's not good anymore.
Yeah, he sucks now.
Yeah. Joe Hayden's
he's 85 and died. I told you.
Yeah. Fucking Ryan Tannehill, dead bitch. I win. Joe Hayden's tackle was awesome. And that spot was like, I don't know what they were looking at. This was also an all-time Tony Romo game. Roughing the passer call that he tried to, speaking of like sticking with your take, where he tried to say that the guy was thrown into Big Ben, and Tom Brady just fumbled. The Bucs are falling apart. This
is concerning.
His
Leonard
body
Fournette,
language is so bad right now.
Leonard Fournette, speaking of injuries, Leonard Fournette's out, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all hurt in this game. Not good. Not good for anyone who hates the Packers and hopes they don't win the Super Bowl this year. But yeah.
Guess what? I saw Mike Florio's tweet earlier. This is some bad news for Big Cat. So our birthday is not, Big Cat's is on January 30th. Mine is on January 31st. It's birthday week. If you want to send us anything, not saying that you have to, but it would be nice. It's Big Cat's birthday is on Championship Sunday. There's a good chance that Aaron Rodgers will be playing in Green Bay on Big Cat's birthday to go to the Super Bowl.
It's going to ruin it. Yeah.
It's going to ruin your birthday. It's going to ruin birthday week, because I can't be happy because we're team players here. I got your back. I can't celebrate my birthday with Big Cat probably with a gun in his mouth.
Thought experiment. Would they arrest a guy if he ran on the field and took a bat to the back of Aaron Rodgers' knee if it was his birthday?
Probably not.
Like, hey, you get one birthday wish. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll just wake up that morning and I'll have a cake with candles, and that will be my wish.
As an owner of the Packers, I will instruct security to turn a blind eye if you choose to do that.
There we go. Thank you. Joe Hayden's tackle was incredible. That was awesome. And yeah, Tony Romo was having whatever. We've been down this road with this podcast. I think we're on the right side of history, but it's going to, much like the Ryan Tannehill take, I think it's going to take probably 10 years for people to be like, hey, those guys were right everyone thought they were haters. We're not. He just doesn't let the broadcast breathe ever. And
I think the broadcaster over replacement. It's like if you're talking about baseball players, the war on Tony Romo, considering what they pay him. I mean, you could get 100 guys off the street that would do that job for, like Jake would be better. I think if you took into account Jake's salary hit.
Yes. Big Ben did end up after this game 5th all-time passing yards. That's kind of nice. 5th
Congrats,
all-time.
Ben.
5th all-time passing yards. Brady, Breeze, Manning, Favre, Roethlisberger. Bam.
So here's what we really need to be rooting for is for the Steelers to make the playoffs, to get all the momentum going, Big Ben to win a playoff game, like absolutely smoke them, drop like 4 touchdowns, 9 yards rushing, just having an incredible game for Big Ben, and then lose in a heartbreaking fashion, maybe in overtime in the next round. So Big Ben's like, I've got unfinished business. I'm coming back.
I mean, I'm rooting for it. I want the Steelers to make the playoffs. One last ride. This Steelers team, though, they somehow don't have an identity, even though they try to have an identity, because they can't list it. They can't run the ball. Their offense leads the league in throwing it short of the first down marker on 3rd down. Their defense is really good, but also gets gashed running the ball. Like the teams run all over them. So I guess their identity is to just Big Ben to make a couple of throw deep plays and turnovers. That's their identity.
They're kind of built like a Disney movie. They've got the old veteran on his last legs. They've got Mr. All-American TJ Watt on the other side, who's just like constantly getting injured and fighting through injuries. TJ Watt's brother on offense, the unheralded Watt. You got the hard ass coach and Mike Tomlin. And then you got a wide receiver that's all over the map mentally right now, that just needs to be reined in, that needs to learn a lesson, that needs to be taught by the veteran on his way out. And then maybe they'll all put it together, and he'll make an awesome heads up play in a playoff game to win. Be like, thank you for teaching me, Ben. I've finally learned how to be a professional.
Yeah, Chase Claypool is the dancing candle holder in Beauty and the Beast. Just saying stupid shit. Like, what are you doing, dude? In every single game goes the same way. They just go down big, and then they find a way to win. So Steelers fans have to be having like mini heart attacks every game. And who do they have left? I think they have they play the Chiefs. So this is probably all going to be for naught. But I really do want the Steelers to make the playoff, because I want Ben to have one last ride. And I want exactly what you said to happen, where it's like they get close enough, they win a game, or they get to the luck into the AFC Championship game just so we can get one more year. So they're playing at the Chiefs, home against the Browns, at the Ravens. I don't know.
That's tough. That's very tough.
So.
I hope that it happens. It's probably not going to, but I'm also just rooting for us to get one last extended GIF out of Ben, like the one in his last game last year where he was just sitting on the bench staring at nothing.
With Marquise Pouncey,
thinking about nothing. I need to have one last iconic moment of Big Ben. I need that very, very much. And is it me, or was this the Titans Steelers? I feel like the Titans fucked up a few years ago when it came to giving them bulletin board material. Like they stomped on the towel, right?
That was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. They stomped on the I think it was Randy Bullock.
It was like a very long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, but that's still what I remember. Just learn your lesson. Don't step on another man's logo, and definitely don't step on a towel.
Yeah. I think it might have even been the Jeff Fisher Titans. Look it up, Jake.
It was. For some reason, that was in like the news recently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you do not fuck with the terrible towel. People take it very seriously. We have one of our favorite coworkers here, Jen Simons, who's a diehard Steelers fan. We needed to do a video, and we needed a terrible towel. I think it was maybe for advisors, and she brought it in for us, and she was like, this is like a family heirloom. Like, don't mess with this. Like, I need this back right away. It's like, but it's just a yellow towel. No. Don't tell Pittsburgh that. That towel means something. I respect the terrible towel.
I do too. I don't want to fuck with the terrible towel.
Hell no. No. What do you got? What year was it?
2008 at the conclusion.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago.
The Steelers defensive end Javon Curse blew his nose into the terrible towel. Linebacker Keith Bullock spit on it and kicked it, and running back Lendale White stomped on the towel.
Lendale White.
Right.
You said Randy Bullock. PFD.
Randy Bullock. Yeah.
I said Randy Bullock.
You said a couple years ago, Randy Bullock.
Keith Bullock did it.
Yeah.
Keith Bullock did it. I knew who I was talking about. Everybody else out there knew who I was talking about too. That's aggressive. I didn't remember that it was that they spat into it and blew their nose on it and then
Yes.
stepped on it. That's overkill.
Yeah.
You gotta dial it back.
They really went for it.
Bullying.
All right, and then the Steelers won that year. They won the Super Bowl that year. So there it was. Yeah, because that was the 2009 Super Bowl. Okay, A.J. Brown might be back for the Titans, though, on Thursday night. They played quick turnaround, so I don't know. The Titans are going to make the playoffs. It's probably pretty tough for them not to make the playoffs because I think they still have a game against the Texans, even though they've lost to the Texans. But they are so fucking battered and injured that I don't know what you expect. Oh, they're playing the Niners on Thursday night. That's a tough game. Very tough.
Julio Jones, remember him?
Yeah, well, he hurt his hamstring again. Just goes to show that maybe we don't know everything because remember in the offseason, we're like, that's not fair. Julio Jones, the Titans. Why didn't everyone try to get Julio Jones? This is crazy. They got him for nothing. Well, maybe because
that was a report.
Yeah, a little older.
That was a report that was first confirmed by Adam Schefter on Twitter. You remember that? When they made the graphic that said like from Adam Schefter.
He started it. Yeah, yeah.
That was the absolute best. But yeah, Julio that was another one of my futures bets. I think I had Julio Jones over 7 touchdowns this year. I've been waiting on that one to come in so I can keep gambling. Turns out he finished the season with 0 touchdowns.
Yeah. Ooh, speaking of future bets, next game, Lions 30, Cardinals 12. Does Jared Goff have enough time to win the MVP? Because he was fucking awesome today. He was awesome. And I said at the start of the show, like, you could make an argument for Dan Campbell being the coach of the year. The fact that the Lions just beat the Cardinals, that was only the third time in the last, I think it was 20 years. No, I think it was the third time in Super Bowl era where the worst team beat the best team, including ties. Good news for the Cardinals, the last 2 times that happened, the best team went on to win the Super Bowl, the 1995 Dallas Cowboys and the 2004 New England Patriots. But that was Dan Campbell, like this team getting 2 wins and fighting in every game. It's crazy. It's awesome to see. Like the Lions, that they dominated the Cardinals. That wasn't a fluke. That wasn't a weird win. They dominated the Cardinals. And we can talk about the Cardinals in a sec, but the Lions deserve all the credit in the world for still fighting for Dan Campbell and coming out and punching the Cardinals in the mouth.
That was a whooping is what it was. They beat the shit out of the Cardinals. At the Cardinals, I've been thinking about them all year. I've been thinking about putting the F word on them. I know I thought about putting the S word on them, the soft word. They are frauds. The Cardinals are definitely fraudulent. The Lions just kicked the shit out of them. And yeah, you could make the argument, Dan Campbell, coach of the year. There were a bunch of games that they probably should have won against good teams earlier. Like they should have beat the Ravens back in September. You remember that one where it was 19-17? And that was the one where Justin Tucker hit the crossbar, bounced it in on that last kick. That was like a league record, right? NFL record for the longest kick ever.
Yep.
They've been playing teams pretty strong for the entire season. So not surprised to see Dan Campbell starting to win games. I think without a doubt, they're the best 2-11 team of all time. Dan Campbell can make a claim to that. I don't know any team that would be within 4.5 points of them in on a neutral field right now. They're also the only team that's ever been, I think, that has had a record of 1 or fewer wins beating a team that has 10 or more wins by double digits.
Ooh. That's a stat.
That is a stat.
That's one of those stats that makes you like spin your head and then you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Cliff Kingsbury is also just a Mimbo. So nothing in his head. Nothing. Okay.
I want to talk about Cliff Kingsbury because I have long thought that he is a fraud. So the Cardinals, Jake put in a reminder to bet the Cardinals in the first 2 months of the season because this is now playing out exactly like last year where Kyler Murray was incredible. Kyler Murray gets dinged up, which I'll say like he probably is hurt a little bit, but the Cardinals last year started 6-3, finished the season on a 2-5 skid. This year they started 8-1, and they're 2-3 since then. And they face the Colts on Saturday. They like Cliff Kingsbury, Brandon Staley. You can say whatever you want about him just being addicted to going for it on 4th down. He has a process and he's instilled confidence in his team on like, this is what we're going to do. And it makes sense long-term, not game by game, but long-term. And I actually understand it. And for the most part, I agree with everything Brandon Staley does. Cliff Kingsbury, I think he just fucking wings it. Like the This game went, they're down 10-0 going into with 2 minutes left, 4th and 3 in the first half. They go for it. Then in the second half, they're down 17-0, 4th and 3. They kick a field goal. Then they're down 24-3, which you need 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, and they kick another field goal. So why did you go for it the first time, then kick field goals the second time? I think he just wings it. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I also think, Cliff Kingsbury, I've always thought that the reason why he's looked good in the NFL is because Kyler Murray is that good and he has that many good weapons around him that a lot of the stuff is backyard football. Kyler Murray just makes great plays and he makes his coach look a lot better than he probably is. You can't tell me the Cardinals, with all the talent they have, going to Detroit and getting, like I said, it wasn't a close game where it's a fluke here or there. They got absolutely punched in the face. That, to me, is not a well-coached team. They were even on defense. It felt like they were all standing around. Jared Goff was slicing them up. Every third down, the Lions converted. It was crazy. So that's my Cliff Kingsbury rant. I'm done believing that, the Cardinals are something better than what they are. Kyler Murray's incredible. If he can stay healthy, he's clearly a franchise quarterback. But Cliff Kingsbury, I have no trust in him.
He's a mimbo. There's nothing going on upstairs. And I think that you're right. There's a lot of stuff that gets covered up by Kyler Murray. There's so many times during a game where they end up with a big chunk play, like a 20, 30-yard play. But at the start of the play, Kyler drifts back in the backfield and does 2 spin moves to get away from the rush, gets outside the pocket, and then hits a guy coming across the middle. That happens all the time. And that's not a result of the offense being awesome. That's a result of having, Hopkins before he got injured, or AJ Green getting open and Kyler hitting him on an improvisational play. So yeah, Kingsbury's a mimbo, and I like the term that you use, punked. That needs to be incorporated into our spectrum of getting your ass kicked. I think you can say they got whooped, they got punked, they got sunned. I think they got sunned by Dan Campbell today.
So here's what a punking is. When you have way better team, the Lions deserve a ton of credit, and you should be proud if you're a Lions fan that you showed up and you beat the best team record-wise, tied for the best record in the NFL. The Cardinals have more talent than the Lions. They just do. The Lions secondary has been ravaged. They should have been able to pass on them. The Lions showed up and did whatever they want. They ran the ball down their throats. They punked them. And
this
again,
is a kneecap game.
You can't tell me that a good coach doesn't get punked like that by bad teams. Good coaches, good teams don't lose like that and get punked like that. It just doesn't happen. And it was the way they lost. If they had lost in a crazy bang-bang play at the end of the game, I'd be like, you know what? That happens any given Sunday. This game was never close. This game was never close. The Lions came out and they just wanted to win so significantly more than the Cardinals. I have something for you too, PFT. This is crazy. They're going to the Cardinals will most likely make the playoffs. Yeah. And I say most likely because they finish against the Colts, who might be the hottest team in football right now. Then they have to go to Dallas. Then they play the Seahawks. The Cardinals might make the playoffs on a 5-game losing streak. That's this is not an easy stretch for them down the end of the season right here. And
I also feel like the Seahawks always play the Cardinals tough, or maybe they don't necessarily play them tough. They just play them weird.
Right.
And a weird game is not one that Cliff can win. As you said earlier, he can calculate the number of ounces that go into an 8-ball, but he can't divide by 7.
Right. And it's good teams. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid. Look what the Chiefs have done this year. Look what the Patriots used to do pretty much every year. September comes and they're figuring things out and everyone's hand rings and says, oh, what's wrong with them? And then by Thanksgiving and December, they're playing their best football and they figured it out and they're starting to play to their strengths. It's the opposite in the last 2 years for the Cardinals. And you can't tell me that doesn't fall on Cliff Kingsbury's fucking, shoulders. You just can't.
I had a thought today about how the Lions are kind of playing their way out of that number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, they are.
Because they've got some competition now. That's tough, but it's not like there's going to be a franchise quarterback that's going to be taken first overall.
Kenny Pickett.
Maybe Kenny Pickett's going to do the thing where he just keeps rising up draft boards after the season is over. But as of right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a quarterback taken in the top 5. So the Lions are probably they might lose that number 1 overall. In fact, I feel like the Lions are maybe like, if I'm doing power rankings right now, I would put the Lions at 27 in the NFL, 28
in
the NFL. They're way better than the record is. But it would be such a good storyline if they were able to draft number 1 overall and get Aiden Hutchinson.
Yes.
To be their like centerpiece on the defense. They picked up Sewell last year, who's going to be playing there for a while on the offensive line. Get another badass dude in on defense, get Aiden Hutchinson. In fact, if Aiden Hutchinson gets drafted by like the Jaguars first overall, he should pull an Eli Manning and demand to go to the Lions.
Agreed. That would be
awesome to see him staying in town.
Yeah. Amon Ra St. Brown. He needs a shout out because if you're a Lions fan, you're like looking for these things. You know, obviously winning this game is huge and it feels good because if you can get to that point of the season where like the Lions are fighting far more than the Bears are fighting. You know what I mean? Like the Lions are a team that is actually trying every single Sunday, where there's a ton of teams out there. The Jaguars, the Jets kind of tried a little today, but there's a ton of teams that have packed it in. The Lions keep fighting, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's had 26 catches in the last 3 games. He's like, those are the things you look for. Like, oh, this is a guy that could be good going forward. You know what I mean? Like that's fun for Lions fans. It's a weird thing to say in a season that you've been the worst team in the league record-wise for the entire season, but like there's little things that you're looking at now like, hey, maybe this thing is starting to turn around. The small pieces are starting to turn around.
I also like Dan Campbell just doing onside kicks when it doesn't really make any sense. You might as well just onside kick every single time.
Dude, that's how bad the Cardinals were, though. They onside kicked and didn't recover it, and like that was I think that was the first or second quarter.
First quarter, I think.
First quarter, you're like, oh, now the Cardinals are going to go down and score. No, they didn't because Kyler was off. Again, he might be injured. I'm going to give Kyler more credit than I give Cliff Kingsbury because I think Kyler will outlast Cliff Kingsbury, but something's wrong with the Cardinals, and it's the second year in a row this has happened.
If you were playing with the Cardinals on Madden today, you would have rage quit. Rage quit by the third quarter, just like unplug the entire console. Be like, the game's cheating right now. How are the Lions beating me? They weren't ready for it. They weren't ready for the smoke that Dan Campbell. Is that what the kids are saying?
Yep.
They didn't want the smoke. Cliff Kingsbury
should have taken the Oklahoma job when Adam Schefter tweeted about it.
Absolutely. He's regretting that.
He should have been like, all right, I'm out.
There's one other thing from this game. There was a Twitter user, Rusky997. He's a Cardinals fan. He tweeted going into the game that if the Cardinals lose to the Lions, he would get Jared Goff's name tattooed on his nutsack.
Love it.
He deactivated. He shut down his account. We need to find Rusky997. You got to pay up, man. Big Cat's going to cut his finger off.
Yeah,
if
the tip.
Yeah, he's going to cut his pinky off if the Colts win the Super Bowl, and he's not going to deactivate. Big Cat will never log off.
I will never log off.
997. You need to log back on and sack up.
Speaking of cowards, the Arizona Cardinals Twitter account, the last tweet they had was Kyler Murray connects with Christian Kirk for a 26-yard touchdown. Fucking cowards. This is like the text. They still have not tweeted. I've been trying to bully them into tweeting the final score. You can't do that. The final score tweet is where all the teams that beat you, all the fans that beat you, get to rally and like have like a little mini chat session underneath your tweet. You can't steal that from them.
And I'm pretty sure that those final, you know what, Big Cat? We need to find examples of their other final tweets from previous games because those are always sponsored. They have a corporate partner, right, that gets their logo put on there. We need to find those tweets, see who sponsors those, and then we need to narc on the Cardinals to their corporate sponsor and be like, listen, they're not fulfilling their end of the advertising bargain. You need to get on them. They need to make good.
PFT, they didn't tweet after the Rams loss either. They're cowards. It's the cowards, the number one coward Twitter account of any team out there. And I say that after Texas stopped tweeting during the Red River shootout and didn't tweet for 2 days after they lost that game. Even they showed up and finally faced the music and, got their comeuppance. The Cardinals.
It's from the top down. That's the fish stinks from the top.
You know
down,
what?
Big Cat.
This
Cliff
is
Kingsbury set the tone for this organization.
This is why you can't take the Cardinals seriously, because they basically get to slip under the cracks, in the cracks here, because no one's like asking for the Cardinals to tweet after a game. I'm demanding the Cardinals tweet the final loss score so that Lions fans can have their moment.
You know who it is? Their social media person is probably Rusky997.
I'm gonna tweet
deactivated, logging off for life. He's not even running the official account. Also, yeah, look who the corporate sponsor is, because we need to narc to them about it.
Find it for us.
I think that's how we put pressure on.
So I've got one thing, Big Cat. You asked me to remind you to bet on the Cardinals the first 2 months of next season. I have a reminder already set Thursday, September 8th from our Week 7 episode to remind you that Kyler Murray is Mr. September, October.
Whoa. All right. Okay. So this is like, yeah.
Confirmed.
This is past Big Cat. If I were LeBron right now, I'd write an Instagram story to past Big Cat being like, you were a smart motherfucker. Too bad you forgot it and you put him in the can't lose
October
parlay.
24th, you already made that take, and here you are again 8 weeks later.
Unbelievable. All right, I'm out on the Cardinals. Officially. Done chaining. Frauds. All right, before we get to the next game, quick word from our friends at Coors Light. Coors Light, as you know, is the greatest beer ever created. Coors Light is the beer made to chill. It's the only beer out there that's literally made to chill, and that's Coors Light. The mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold. That way, you always know when it's time to chill. When you need to hit the reset, just open a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Perfect for a moment to unwind. Coors Light, when you're sitting on your couch, maybe relaxing, watching some football, holiday time, having people over, Coors Light. That is what you need to have. You need to crack open a Coors Light, the coldest beer out there. When you need to chill this holiday season, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take, CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. CoorsLight.com/take. Thank you to Coors Light. We love you, Coors Light. I will be having a few Coors Light this week. All right. By the way, the Saints just own the Bucs in regular season. I don't know what the bet would have been. Let's quickly do this game because it's over, essentially over. I don't know what the bet would have been for no touchdowns, but I don't think there's going to be a touchdown in this game. And the Bucs just went like that. This has got to be the worst possible everything. Like they don't get the 1 seed now because the Packers are probably going to win out. Godwin gets hurt. Mike Evans gets hurt. Leonard Fournette gets hurt. That's a fucking nightmare of a game.
Vita Vea just celebrated a tackle for a 1-yard loss on second down. They're down 9 points. Actually, this game's not over yet. Big Cat, you know what you're doing. There's too much time on the clock for Tom Brady right now.
Counting out, he doesn't have any weapons anymore. Like everyone got hurt. I didn't even see Mike Evans get hurt.
We need to do a thing where we go back and look at Bruce Arians' face over the course of the season, by the way, because his face is so red tonight. I know Jake did a Pantone check on it. We should get a screenshot from every single game of Bruce Arians on the sideline and see how his face is getting redder and redder over the year. Jake, it's incredible. Can you do that for me?
It is incredible. PFT, by the way.
Sorry, I stepped away for a second. The Pantone from pregame?
Yeah, I would like to see a Pantone check on Bruce Arians, a snapshot of him on the sideline every single game this season to see how his face is getting.
PFT, by the way, I think we have to upgrade the 49ers as just being legitimately a really good team. The Saints might be your don't look now team.
No, not yet.
Because
not
they
yet.
finished, hold on. They finished against the Dolphins, Panthers, and Falcons. Like, they could run the table. They could be, and it would be unfortunate for you because they have the tiebreaker over your Washington football team. But the Saints could absolutely, and I think they have the tiebreaker over the Eagles as well because they beat the Eagles. The Saints could be your don't look now team because they still have like so many. Their defense is still so good, and with Kamara back, watch out for the Saints. Heard it here first.
The Saints are more. They're putting the pieces together.
Watch out for the Saints.
Putting the pieces together team. I think the Niners are still going to be my don't look now team just because they'll kick your ass.
But I think people are already looking at the Niners. Like they're in.
But they've only been my don't look now team for like 2 weeks. That's not enough time. Not enough people have looked at them.
Okay. I'm just saying I'm looking
If the Niners win next week, then I think we can move them out of don't look now because too many people have seen them. The Saints, they're getting. I agree. The Saints are in a position where they could be a don't look now team because they lost 5 in a row, right?
Right.
So everyone looked away from them.
And they have, again, Dolphins, which, the Dolphins are playing well, but that's in the Superdome. Panthers, who are a dumpster fire, and at the Falcons. They could finish 10-7 here, and they, again, have the tiebreaker over the Washington football team and the Eagles. I don't know who would have the tiebreaker with them and the Vikings, but those are the 3 teams that are directly ahead of them. 2 out of 3 of them they have the tiebreaker on. I
think the Saints are a team that we forgot about, number 1. And then 2, I think, you know what? I'm going to say it. They could be, if they win next week, then they're officially my NFC don't look now team.
Yeah, because no one wants to play the Saints. That's what it's going to end up being. No one wants to play the Saints. Because
right now,
do enough things.
Did we forget about them team?
And when the Saints are actually their defense does hit so hard. It feels like one of those teams, which were the Bucs until, I don't know, the Bucs secondary's been ravaged, but one of those teams that just flies around and just is physical all the time. And then with Taysom Hill on offense, they're like a mirror image because all he does is ram his head through a wall and try to throw, a couple times a game.
Well, he's got the mallet finger right now, which is starting to improve. I actually think the mallet finger might be a good thing for Taysom Hill because he always plays better over the course of games because he loves contact so much. He loves being in pain that when he starts a game in a little bit of pain with his finger, then he's already in I love football mode. Right. Whereas before it would take 2 quarters of getting his ass kicked where then he'd start to, he's like the Nate Diaz thing, right?
Yeah.
So now he's starting every game in a significant amount of pain, which is actually good for Taysom Hill.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so the Bucs, that's a bad loss for the Bucs. Very bad loss. And the Saints just for whatever reason own Tom Brady in the regular season. That will now be 4-0 against the Bucs in the regular season.
Bad day for Hank, unfortunately.
All right, let's talk Dolphins Jets. Jake deserves credit. Jake told us this was going to happen a month and a half ago. He was like, I've looked at the schedule. The Dolphins are going to be back at 500. It's crazy to say. They've won 6 in a row. I don't know if you guys saw my advanced stat that I found, but actually, now that Tom Brady's going to lose this game, it's only 2. Only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL have won 5 straight starts. Patrick Mahomes and Tua. And that's all I'll say about Tua today.
Mm-hmm. He won. He won, right?
He won.
What's the most important stat in the NFL? Wins. And people have been taking a shit on quarterback wins as a stat for a long time. I love it because it's so simple. You can't really, if you end up winning all of your games, then people can't tell you shit. They can't be like, well, I wish you won them prettier. No, I got to win. I got Tua. Tua's looking good. I actually think that left-handed quarterbacks on screen passes look cool. It's when they start to do the mid-range throws where I'm like, that's a witch. It looks wrong.
Yes.
It looks unnatural to be throwing with your left hand. It was also Duke Johnson game. Duke's back. I don't think he's ever scored 2 touchdowns in a game until today. And this was his first
awesome.
one.
He was awesome. And then we also had an all-time Christian Wilkins doing the worm and then jumping into the stands and falling through the fans because he forgot. He was like a big baby that didn't know his own strength. He was like a huge dog. He forgot for a second that he's 300 pounds when he jumped into the lap of some South Floridian couple. That was an awesome moment. And I'm going to say something nice about the Jets. The Jets were fun for a half. They were a lot of fun. Mike LaFleur, I don't know why he decided this was the week that he would do all the trick plays, but they did all the trick plays at once. He basically was saving them all up for this game, and all of them pretty much worked, and it was fun to watch the Jets. They were fun.
I think in the first half, Wilson had as many pass attempts as the rest of the team did combined because he was throwing. They had that one pass, the rugby pass downfield, Crowder to Berrios, and he put it on a dime. So once again, what's that old saying that I think Gandhi said? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. That's how I feel right now with rugby taking over the NFL. Billy, I'm curious to know, I saw you tweet out earlier that Zach Wilson has now gone 2 weeks without throwing an interception. I know that, you're trying to spin this into a positive. How are you feeling about your guy?
I mean, progress is honestly better than a win, just for the future and looking forward.
That's actually, you're right. You're right about that in terms of being a bad team, having a draft pick. Progress is way more important than a win. I agree with you.
Mm.
But wouldn't you also agree that you'd, like we talked about earlier with Mac Jones, you'd rather have him make mistakes so that he can learn from them?
Well, I think Zach's gotten enough mistakes in the season. I think he's learned a lot, and now it's starting to pay off.
So this is his final form. This is peak Zach Wilson. He learned everything there is to know about the NFL in weeks 1 through 6.
Look, as long as he doesn't do anything negative, like turn the ball over, I really don't care. This team's going to be sick next year when we have draft picks, and it just all starts shaping.
Put it on a poster. This team's going to be sick next year.
They're going to be a contender.
By the way,
is Zach Wilson will do something, and he did something.
He did do something.
Yeah, rushing touchdown.
Jake, you deserve credit. You did predict this. Now, Jake, let me ask you this, because I'm a member of 2-on. I already gave the stat. Only 2 quarterbacks have won 5 straight starts at this given moment. That's Tua and Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if you ever heard of Patrick Mahomes. Pretty good. Tua, also really good. What would you say, and this isn't me saying it, but what would you say to the people who say the Dolphins have won 6 straight and the Ravens, nice win, but the other teams they beat are the Texans, the Jets twice, the Panthers, and the Giants? What would you say?
I would say forgetting the Patriots week 1 in Foxborough.
No. I'm talking about on their winning streak.
Oh.
Their winning streak right now has been against the Texans, the Jets twice, the Panthers, the Giants, and the Ravens.
Yeah, they don't have quality wins, but this isn't college football. They don't need a resume. They just need to get in.
That's what I would say, too. That's what I was going to say. I
just wanted some guidance.
I wanted some guidance because, again, all I'm going to say about Tua's game today was that he has won 5 straight, and only Patrick Mahomes can say that same thing.
They don't make the schedule, Big Cat. The league does that. So you play who you play. And actually, Jake, when you called your shot a while ago, in retrospect, you were looking at the schedule and being like, we have an easy fucking schedule over our next 7 games.
That's the only reason I said it.
Yeah.
There was also there's a moment, I feel like this happens every week. I think it happened last week as well, where I just look up from my phone to the television and the ball's just lying on the ground next to Tua. But he always picks it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens. There's just always one play, usually 2 or 3 a game, where the ball is just like next to him. And he's like a bird returning to his nest, and he just calmly picks it up and throws a dime.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Tua, listen, I said my piece on Tua. Tua's won 5 in a row. By the way, I might have been wrong.
I feel like you're waking up a lot of people on this podcast, Big Cat, to the truth that is 2-on.
I was wrong about the Saints. They lost the Eagles. People are going to be really mad at me when they get to the point in the podcast 5 minutes ago when I say that. I'm going to get a million tweets, and then you're going to get to this point and realize I already corrected myself. So there it is. I forgot about that game. I forgot the Eagles kicked the shit out of the Saints. That was a Trevor Siemian. He threw the pick 6 with like 3 seconds left in the first half.
There was another amazing moment at this game where they did a scoreboard proposal where a guy was asking his girlfriend to marry him, but the guy he got up from his seat and was like in line for a hot dog or something. So it was just the girl sitting at her seat by herself, reading the proposal with her hand over her mouth, like, oh my God, I'm getting married. And then her boyfriend was like taking a leak somewhere. I'd never got an update on that. I don't know if it was a happy ending. But I kind of hope that she said no and that he has to do it again, because you're ruining the magic of a scoreboard proposal, which a lot of people think is cheesy and unromantic. I disagree. I think you're professing your love in front of tens of thousands of people. Or at the very least, the Dolphins should give him another one. Bring her back next week and have him do the scoreboard proposal when you know that he's in his seat.
Yes. Remind me, by the way, what the mayor's bet was. So, Jake, Billy has to eat salad for a week?
Billy has to eat salad for a week, yeah. Or no, sorry. It was me, no salad, him, no meat.
Oh, he doesn't get to eat meat.
No,
Yeah.
remember we said that the other person would order their meal for a week and
Yeah.
the other person would pay for it.
Yeah.
That was what we determined. So Jake, well, how about we make it the first week of January when we're all back? in
All
the
right.
office?
Okay,
That
so
works.
Jake orders the meal and you pay for it, Billy.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So salad. Yes.
Jake,
So
if you'd
Billy's not
like
eating
us
meat.
to help you with this meal prep, we'd be more than happy to do so.
We'll love your consideration.
I want him
Yeah,
to
I've
eat,
got some input on it.
tofu and soy so he gets tits and he never recovers.
And an IPA.
Oh, he'd be so mad at himself.
Just
No
have Billy
gains.
getting D cups.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next game. Bills Panthers. So Zane Gonzalez getting hurt in the pregame made this game enjoyable. I think that there should be a new rule in the NFL that once a year every team has to play without a kicker, and we don't know when it's going to happen. It's just basically Goodell hits a button. It's like tonight's your no kicker game, because it's so much fun watching kickoffs, knowing that they can't kick a field goal, knowing that they have to go for two. Like, it just adds such a hilarious wrinkle to the game. A game that really was never in doubt. The Bills dominated, but I was like glued to it. It was like, wait, what if they get in a spot where they could totally kick a field goal? They're not going to kick it. Or are they? Are they going to have PJ Walker try to kick it? When he did that, I don't think he's ever kicked a ball in his life. That should be a rule going forward.
It was laugh out loud funny seeing the highlight reel of the different players trying to kick the ball in the pregame. And most of them were trying to do onside kicks. And some of the onside kicks, they actually look pretty good. I think that more kickers should be replaced on onside kick by guys that just have absolutely no idea what they're doing.
Yes.
And just be like, you go up there, you try to kick off. And then the result of that kick will be a fucked up onside kick that's impossible to catch or retrieve for the hands team. But yeah, it was very funny watching them try to kick field goals. If they were down by 2 points and it was, 4th and goal from the 20-yard line, I think they would have tried to kick a field goal, like a 30.
That's the part that was so fun.
That's what I would have loved to see. They should either make a rule that it's like, okay, when your kicker's out, your coach has to attempt the field goal. That would be very funny. You see Matt Rhule waddle out there and try to kick a field goal, or just all teams should have an emergency kicker.
Yes.
Like NHL teams have the emergency goalie.
Yeah.
Like somebody that's in the stands has a real job that just gets called upon. Once a year, you'll see a team bring down a guy that he makes the popcorn up in section 400, bring him down and let him try kicking field goals at the end of the game. Matt Rhule has reached the point in the season where he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to blame Cam Newton for everything. And to be fair, Cam Newton sucked today. He sucked. But usually coaches won't say it out loud, but right after the game, Matt Rhule was like, yeah, that pass play that Cam Newton had on 4th and 1, where he threw the ball about 3 yards to the left. Yeah, that ball should never be thrown.
It's painful to watch him throw. It's gotten to that point. He's 0-12 in his last 12 Panther starts. Cam Newton should just retire, because right now it's becoming sad to watch, and it's completely sullying what was, he won an MVP. So I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to just remember how awesome Cam Newton was at Auburn, because for my opinion, which doesn't mean anything other than what it means to me, Cam Newton was the greatest college football player of all time in that 2010 Auburn season, where he had 51 touchdowns, 30 passing, 21 rushing. And he played on an offense that didn't have a single wide receiver or running back play in the NFL. The only guys that got drafted on the offense that he was on were 2 offensive linemen, one a 7th rounder who played 6 games, one a 4th rounder who played 22 games. So Cam Newton won the national championship, went 14-0, had an incredible Heisman year, 50 touchdowns, and he did it with basically no help, and he was just that electric and that good and ran the gauntlet in the SEC. I just want to remember that Cam Newton, because that Cam Newton is like, I just remember that year and being like, this guy is the most incredible football player I've ever seen. I don't want to watch Cam Newton try to throw right now and be like, has he ever thrown a football before?
And also the 2015 season where he went 15-1.
Yes.
That was an incredible season right there. And that was kind of an equally shitty team in a lot of ways, where he was the entire Carolina Panthers. I think you can just point straight up at the Super Bowl that year and be like, this is the game that broke Cam Newton. because he was never the same after that Super Bowl, after the legendary business decision. I think he went 11-5 a couple years later, so that's pretty good. But he was not the same quarterback from that point on. No. That's a case of a singular game that absolutely destroyed his confidence in himself. And then, like when he came out for the post game press conference at that Super Bowl, that's when he started to hate the media too, because the media started. That was when the Pete Priscos of the world, and goddamn, I can't believe I dropped Pete Prisco's name twice in an episode. But the big media guys were like, Cam Newton needs to learn how to lose with class in the Super Bowl. He just knew that he was done at that point. I think on a certain level, he was like, I don't feel like the same person. And he was a great player for a long time, and Carolina fans are never going to have anything but good memories of Cam. When they think about him, 5 years, 6 years from now, they're going to think about how awesome he was for the team, got them to a Super Bowl. But Matt Rhule kind of did a good job by bringing Cam Newton in, I thought, because it's a good move for his job security.
Yeah.
Because if Cam Newton sucks, Panthers fans aren't going to be like, yo, fuck you, Matt Rhule. Why did you bring in Cam Newton? He stinks. Panthers fans are going to think Cam Newton's back in town. All right, the second half of the season is going to be pretty fun because we get to watch Cam come back home for the end of his career.
Yeah.
So Matt Rhule's kind of he's skating by despite the fact that he hasn't been a very good coach.
Yeah, he's just a nicer, more well-mannered Urban Meyer at this point in terms of like the team looks bad and they look like they can't, like they're making mistakes and doing things. You're like, what's going on here? They're not coached very well. I just hate when you watch a player who meant something to you as a sports fan and watching it be this bad towards the end. Because there's like, I don't know, pick a 20-year-old sports fan right now probably doesn't really have many memories of Cam Newton at Auburn. You know what I mean? Like 9 years old then. So they don't remember how electric he was. Yeah, right, exactly, Billy. You don't remember what he did that season. I also forgot to throw in the fact that his coach was Gene Chizik, who got fired 2 years later and has never gotten a head coaching job since. He won a national title. He never got another head coaching job. Cam Newton did all of this. His defense was pretty good. They had, I think, Nick Fairley and some good guys on defense. But he played on an offense with, like, think about Mac Jones last year. Think about Tua when he won, like, that. Those offenses were, think about Joe Burrow, littered with pros, like pros up and down the fucking roster. Cam Newton played with two guys on an offensive line who played a total of 28 games in the NFL. And he went 14-0 in the SEC and had 51 touchdowns and was a fucking monster. So I want to remember that, Cam Newton.
I think that Gene Chizik was such a bad coach that he's getting paid $17 million to not coach. I think that's his final total, because he got paid to stop coaching at Iowa State. Then he got stopped paid to coaching at Auburn after that. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $10 to $17 million. He also had a nice tweet the other day that was talking about how players are getting boned over by the NIL stuff because they're getting money that they don't earn. And it's literally Gene Chizik. And he ended the tweet with hashtag words of chisdom.
Oh, that's nice. that actually hits when you
plays
that way. I love.
He's an expert. He's an expert when it comes to that stuff. So I believe him.
I love any coach that complains about NIL because they're essentially, or the transfer portal, because they're essentially being like, I'm lazy and I don't want to have to work harder. Like, who does
adapt?
Yeah, who doesn't complain? Who has not complained about the NIL or transfer portal? Nick Saban, because he just fucking keeps rolling. And the first thing he did with the NIL was, remember, he had that report. Like, he basically came out and did a press conference. He's like, "Yeah, our quarterback's going to make $1 million next year. Come to Alabama." Instead of Dabo being like, "The transfer portal's bullshit. I don't want to use it."
It's a good lesson in life. You can either complain about stuff when they change it, or you can be like, fuck it, I'm going to abuse the new rules.
Yeah, right. So any coach that complains about it, I just laugh, because they're essentially saying, I have to work harder for my paycheck now, and kids can leave if I treat them like shit. Oh, that sucks.
I did notice one thing that Cam did today, though. In the first half, he went horns down. I don't know. I think he's still thinking about that awesome season that he had back at Auburn.
Yeah.
And he's going horns down still to this day.
It's tough to watch Cam Newton. The only other thing I had with the Bills, so Gabriel Davis was really good. He was playing for Emmanuel Sanders, so that's a nice option for the Bills. Josh Allen's definitely he's hurt. Like his foot is hurt because you could tell, and maybe they just knew that they were going to beat the Panthers no matter what, but he wasn't running the ball like he usually does. So I'm a little nervous about Josh Allen. Like, is he going to be full Josh Allen? Is he going to be able to, design runs? Because that's basically their rushing attack. And now, Hank, it's Bills-Patriots next week for, like, everything.
Everything.
I don't know how the tiebreakers work because I think the Bills have enough conference losses that Patriots, even if they lost, they would still be okay. But it's a very, very important game.
Yeah, because if the Bills win, they can basically say the first game didn't really count because of the weather and stuff. And then, the Patriots need it bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if the Bills win, then they can be like, oh, look at Hank. He was celebrating that Super Bowl that they had in Buffalo a couple weeks ago. They can flip it on you the way that you rubbed it in their face. Like, we came to your town, the bully's back. They can be like, look at you guys. You're celebrating a meaningless win because the real bully's back in town when they're at the top of the division.
As a sports fan, though, like, there's nothing better than what the Bills have an opportunity to do here. Because if you're a Bills fan, you were at, like, the bottom after you lost to the Patriots and lost to the Bucs and tried to come back in that game. And now, because sports are the best, you Sunday have, like, it's on again. You know what I mean? Like, if the Bills win this game, it's like a total reset to everything. Like, oh, they're back to being a true contender in the AFC and everything's back on.
Whose line do you think it is anyway?
Oh, let's do it.
Good question. I'm going to say Patriots by 2.5.
I'll say.
No, I'm changing.
Wait,
4.
Whoa.
Patriots -4.
Patriots 3, flat 3 right now.
Patriots -1.5.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Okay, that seems like a little bit of an overreaction.
What's the weather like? That's the big question.
Doesn't matter.
That feels like a little bit of an overreaction.
New England. You can't figure out the forecast now. 9-0. That's disgusting.
Saints 9, Bucks 9. I really want to know what the odds were for no touchdown scored. I mean, that's a
You
psycho.
tweeted it, Big Cat. I was looking at your mentions. There's about 75,000 different numbers getting thrown around.
Someone actually tweeted those. It was 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
Can we run a sports book? We could probably figure that out.
Someone bet $20 to win 1,000. That's got to be the most miserable bet you can make, though.
That's a game that you don't watch.
Sit there and watch 60 minutes and hope for no touchdowns.
That's a bet that you make if you're at the airport and you're getting on a Spirit Airlines flight to somewhere else and you know you're not going to have Wi-Fi in the air.
Yeah, people are saying everything. There's so many different responses. All right. Go ahead.
I had a bad thought over the weekend, Big Cat, and this is definitely what's going to happen. So we know Hank is taking a vacation, which is his right because it's the holidays, and we encourage our employees here at Barstool to take vacations all the time. He's going to go to the Caribbean. Travel is going to get shut down. Hank is going to be stuck in a tropical paradise for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the beach while we're stuck here in New York being miserable in the worst weather ever as the Patriots win a Super Bowl. And he's going to be on the beach laughing in our faces the whole time.
I haven't been able to think. I haven't been able to think. I haven't been able to sleep thinking about it.
Cam just sent it to me. He said it was 75 to 1, so maybe even better. That guy got bad odds. Who bet it? I wanted to, can we do a quick guest? Can we do a quick guest recap real quick of this game so people know that we talked about it? We got to do it. I don't even know what he says.
Scored no points tonight. Got our ass kicked.
Oh.
Bottom line, the Bucs have a very good offensive line. They got their lunch eaten today by the Saints defense.
He's smiling, by the way.
Tough. I mean, we couldn't throw the ball, couldn't run the ball. Ronald Jones did an okay job in the second half. Injuries left and right. Chris Godwin looks like an MCL maybe. Mike Evans, hamstring. Leonard Fournette, hamstring.
God, I hate his fucking fake John Gruden accent he puts on.
David, foot. Everybody's going out. It's an infirmary over here. This game can't end soon enough. On to next week. Just a horrendous showing. I hope we never see the Saints again until next year. Credit to them. They played a good game, but good Lord.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Don't you just hate that when he's like Chris Gadwin?
Oh, that good Lord at the end, really, like if I were about to eat a meal, it would have been ruined. I would have been like, no, thank you. I don't want that. Oh. All right, before we get to our next game, PFD, you got a quick word from one of our sponsors.
Yeah, I want to talk about our great friends over at Cross Country Mortgage. We love Cross Country Mortgage. They are a people-first group of people. Football players make football plays, but they also make plays off the field like the experts over at Cross Country Mortgage. They might not be doling out concussions or breaking bones, but they're dedicated to doing whatever it takes to get you into the home of your dreams. Cross Country Mortgage has a team of loan officers dedicated to getting it done and finding you the best possible loan terms available. They have an average close time of 21 days. That's ridiculously fast. If anybody out there has ever done a mortgage, I had a mortgage when I was in Austin. 21 days is super fast. The worst part about buying a home is dealing with all the paperwork, all the red tape of getting a mortgage, but Cross Country Mortgage makes it super, super easy. They get a big variety of products. They cover everything from renovations to refis, everything in between. So go with the players that are going to make the plays for you when buying a home. Cross Country Mortgage is dedicated to getting it done for you. Go to crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool so Cross Country Mortgage can take care of you through the home buying process. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029, all loans subject to underwriting approval. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool.
All right, Cowboys, Giants, free medium Pepsi product day. What a day. What a day.
Asterisk on that free medium Pepsi product, Big Cat. Because it was if you were the person whose name was on the season ticket. They weren't even handing out free medium Pepsis. For the love of God, if you're going to be giving out Pepsis, it just don't say medium. Just be like, yeah, it's a large. I know how movie theaters work. I know how stadiums work. The mediums are very big. It's just insult. It's degrading is what it is. Give us our dignity. If we're fans going to a Giants game in that sunny, cold environment at MetLife, just don't tell us it's medium. Just be like, it's free Pepsi day. The fact that you're throwing medium in there is just, it's reminding me that you only care about me a medium amount.
Yeah. Oh, brutal. Like that, how no one was like, hey, this is probably a bad idea. We're a really bad team. We've lost, I think the Giants have lost the most games of any franchise in like the last 5 years. Maybe let's not do free medium. Just retire Eli's jersey again. Have Eli come out at every halftime being like, there's probably at least 5,000 to 10,000 different fans at every game. You know what I mean? Like the non-season ticket holders. Just keep trotting Eli out. Maybe every now and then, like David Deal will show up. I don't know. Michael Strahan can do it on the off days. Just do that. Free medium Pepsi is such a slap in everyone's face. I would have just dumped it out. I would have gotten it and dumped it out.
You know what I would have done? I would have gone up to the concession stand. They would have handed me my Pepsi and I would have just given them $7. Be like, here, take it.
Yeah.
I don't want your I'm not going to let you have an upper hand on me.
The craziest part is the free medium Pepsi obviously made a lot of headlines like leading up to the game. But the most offensive thing the Giants did was have Mike Glennon start. Like that was I personally am hurt every time I watch Mike Glennon play football because there was a moment in time where I thought he was going to be the answer for the Chicago Bears. I remember.
It's crazy. Yeah. Absolutely crazy to think that Mike Glennon was a starting quarterback like 4 years ago. Not just a starting quarterback, a quarterback that was a coveted free agent that got a shitload of money guaranteed to come in and be the starter. And now you watch him tonight. You know, I don't think he's ever played football. He's like a volleyball player that is learning how to play football on the fly.
I think I've said this before, but I so vividly remember I was driving. I flew into Memphis and I was driving to Arkansas for the Arkansas Derby, and I was listening to the Cubs on the radio, and Mike Glennon was in the booth because he was singing the stretch. And the whole time I was like, we got our guy. We got our guy. Like, this is Mike Glennon. He's going to be the guy. And God damn it, was that the dumbest thought I've ever had in my entire life.
I think we should also add Mike Glennon to the nice guy list.
Nice guy.
Yes.
I think he's a stoolie, so very nice guy.
He's
made a lot
nice
of money, but man, he might not want to be a quarterback anymore.
Mike Glennon is very good in a global sense at playing football. If you took a random sample of everyone on earth, I think he's probably better than 90% of people at playing football.
He's in the 0.001% of people who have thrown a football in the history of Earth. Think about that. That. Mike Glennon, so that's how good he is.
He's a very nice guy, and on a global sense, he's He's an elite quarterback.
No.
Tier quarterback.
No. On a global sense, PFT, he's like a 1 in 100 million quarterback.
Right. I was joking when I said 90%. But yes, if we're talking about the actual real stats, I think it's even bigger than 1 in 100 million. I think he's like 1 in like 6.7 billion.
Whew.
That's how good. Think about that.
Well, Tua
is one of them. Yeah. So 6.7 billion, 999,999,998.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's very, very good at quarterback, but I felt bad for him today a little bit because I don't think he wants to be out. He's not even the best quarterback with a freakishly big neck in the NFL right now.
You know what? You're right, because obviously Davis Mills. Hold on. I'm going to do something that will make us be very nice to Mike Glennon. Let's see. Mike Glennon, career earnings. Let's go, Mike Glennon. $31 million. There you go, Mike Glennon.
Pretty good.
That's pretty
good. And he's
good.
a Shiano man, too. So that's even rarer, actually, than how good he is at being a quarterback.
Also,
there are only probably like 200 Shiano men in the history of the world.
Also, over half of that paid by the Bears.
Thank you, Big Cat.
Ryan Pace. That actually should be like, if we had a PowerPoint, why you should fire Ryan Pace. Ryan Pace is responsible for over half of Mike Glennon's career earnings.
I mean, Ryan Pace guaranteeing that much money to Mike Glennon.
That's such a
and
stat.
then immediately fucking him over with the draft pick. That ended Mike Glennon's career right there.
Oh my God. Really? No, like that should just be tweeted. Like, Ryan Pace is responsible for over half of Mike Glennon's career earnings. And
it was as a backup.
Well, it was a starter first.
No, he was never the starter, though.
No. Well, he started the first few games that season, but also he was the starter for like a month before the draft because we signed him in March, and then we drafted Mitch.
It's absolutely absurd what they did with Mike Glennon. But good for him.
Good for Mike Glennon.
Knocking Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon has also maximized the best of his abilities more than anybody. It's like him and Darrelle Revis have squeezed every penny out of every ounce of talent that they have.
This is actually just like incredible to look at. 4 seasons for the Bucs, $4 million. 1 season for the Cardinals, $5 million. 1 season for the Raiders, 1.8. 1 season for the Jaguars, 1.2. 1 season for the Giants, 1.3. 2 seasons for the Bears, 18.5.
I'm trying to remember what happened to even get him to the Bears. Was it straight from the Bucs?
No, he was a free agent. We signed him.
But
we were just like, Mike Glennon's going to
be. Was that after he was like immediately after he was a Buck, or did he go somewhere else?
Yes, no, it was right after he was a Buck, and we were like, yeah, Mike Glennon's the future. Like, this guy's fucking good.
Because for a second I was like, maybe there was a season where he went somewhere, maybe to the Raiders, and got in halfway through and played 2 awesome games. But no, it's just the Buck experience.
Oh man, I'm gonna tweet that tomorrow morning. Ryan Pace should be fired simply for the fact that he is responsible for over half of Mike Glennon's career earnings. All right, this game, the Cowboys. I threw out there that the Cowboys are a legitimate Super Bowl contender last week. A lot of people were like, "No way, that's crazy." I still think it. Their offense scares me because their offense doesn't look great. Like, for some reason, whenever they get in the red zone, it like kind of falls apart. Dak looks a little off, but their defense is lights out. And I know it was the Giants, but like we talked about with the Cardinals earlier in the show, like, good teams, contending teams beat the fuck out of bad teams. That's just what they do. So the Cowboys get credit for beating the fuck out of the Giants, and DeMarcus Lawrence being fully healthy and all their defensive weapons, like, I think they are definitely up there for teams. Like, if you want to take out the Cardinals now, it's Packers, Bucks, who knows how many injuries they're going to come away with this game from, and Cowboys in my mind. Maybe you want to throw in the Rams? I don't know.
So this game had this one moment where Mike McCarthy, against a bad team, doesn't really matter. But against any of those other teams that you mentioned, it's like, oh, yeah, there's still the big Mike McCarthy hurdle that you have to get over, where his brain just turns off for about 30 seconds every game. There's one, you never know when it's going to come. He goes into a fugue state and just completely loses consciousness. And at the end of the half, when they had a chance to go take a shot at the end zone with a timeout, Mike McCarthy just was like, he was just drooling on himself on the sideline, not knowing what to do. And it didn't matter in this game because, again, they're playing the Giants. But if you're playing against a good team, those moments actually matter.
You're right. That's a good counterpoint. Mike McCarthy
and
does
I do think that the Cowboys I do think that the Cowboys have enough talent and they are a good enough team to win a Super Bowl this year. I just think that Mike McCarthy is liable to go rogue at any moment.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be the perfect Mike McCarthy goes to Green Bay? Goes up to Green Bay and he and Aaron Rodgers have a stare down, and they would probably pretend to like each other for a second.
No, that would be amazing though, because if the Cowboys beat the Packers in Green Bay, then once and for all we get to say it was Mike McCarthy that was so good in Green Bay, not Aaron Rodgers.
That's my birthday present. That's
System quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, anybody could have won. Mike McCarthy could have taken Jordan Love and won 4 Super Bowls.
That's all I want for my birthday. That's all I want. God, give me that. But yeah, I think the Cowboys they're also 11-3 against the spread, so they definitely deserve credit there as well. That's pretty crazy. 11-3 against the spread is pretty hard to do. Do we want to talk real quick about Saquon?
It was a sick catch that he had today. You want to talk about a sick catch?
Sick catch.
That should be all that we say about Saquon Barkley. Awesome catch today.
And I know Giants fans would be like, well, their offensive line sucks. And Devontae Booker rushed for 74 yards today. Saquon Barkley hasn't rushed for more than 70 yards in a game this year.
How many sick catches did Booker have today?
That's true. Good point. Yeah, Booker was 8 for 74, and Saquon was 15 for 50. Same offensive line. I don't know. I just think that it's just I don't want to, obviously he's never done anything wrong to me, but Saquon Barkley, there's never been a player who's had more. And if he was on a different team, maybe he'll have a Leonard Fournette second chapter to his career where he's on a better team. But the hype of Saquon Barkley and people talking about him like he was legitimately like Barry Sanders, and what has actually been produced on the field is insane.
Well, there are a couple of things at play there. One is that he was drafted so high, which isn't his fault.
Nope.
Not his fault that he was drafted that highly as a running back. But that first season that he had where he was awesome, he was the only thing that was good about the Giants, the only thing. So fans are going to remember that and think back to that year and be like, this guy was the only thing that I was looking forward to watching for a season. So I owe him the benefit of the doubt to keep rooting for him over the years. And then also just thinking back, he was drafted so highly that I want him to succeed. So as a fan, there are 2 reasons I think why you will still defend Saquon Barkley. And he's played through a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Too. He's gotten hurt and he's sacrificed his body a little bit. So they're going to be banging the drum for him. I think that the best hope for him is exactly what you said. He goes somewhere else on a team that maybe has a few more options around him.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think, is this his fifth year next year? So they got to figure out what to do. Pick up his option. Yeah. I hope Saquon Barkley gets a second career somewhere that he can flourish, because right now, I don't know, when Devontae Booker is more explosive than you, that's cause for concern. All right, next game, Texans Jaguars. Actually a really fun game. We had a monsoon, we had a 98-yard kick return that was incredible, and we also had a touchdown where a fan was in the end zone. He ran on the field and he was standing in the end zone while the touchdown was being scored because Jacksonville and Davis Mills, I think I'm ready to say Davis Mills is your future for at least next year, Houston.
I would actually like to apologize to Davis Mills because I was a charter member of Mills Mafia on this podcast, and then I soured on him for a while. I had a bad taste in my mouth from Davis Mills. I turned my back on you. I'm sorry for that. I now believe in Davis Mills to be at least – I think Davis Mills could be a very average backup quarterback in the NFL for a very long time.
Well, here's the craziest part about Davis Mills. This draft is not quarterback heavy coming up. If Davis Mills had stayed for another year at Stanford, he might have been drafted by the Texans with the first or second pick.
So that's great value. And
Great
you got
value.
Another year of experience.
Because he would have been like the guy that everyone talked up because he was a highly touted recruit. I think he was the best
The number
recruit
one quarterback coming out of high school.
Yeah, number one quarterback coming out of high school. I bet you is the highest recruit that the Stanford's ever landed, and that's including Andrew Luck. And so he would have gotten all the hype. I don't think he's that bad, which is a nice thing to say about a guy who's playing on a bad team. He's not that bad.
So in a way, it's like the Texans are going to have 2 number 1 picks next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
And if they sign Kevin White, 3.
This was for the Jaguars, big I told you so moment for Urban Meyer. Look how bad all those other coaches were that got Urban fired. All the losers. You had all the losers leading your team, and look what happened, Jags. Look, I think that this is vindication for a guy Urban.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Did you see his quote, by the way, Urban Meyer?
I apologize to Jacksonville.
Yeah, and then in classic Urban Meyer fashion, because the guy cannot just apologize. He's the worst apology guy ever, because then he has to do a re-apology later. He said that I think college has changed quite a bit too. Just society has changed. You think how hard you pushed. I believe there's greatness in everybody, and it's the coach's job to find the greatness, however you do that. Positive encouragement, pushing them to be greater, making them work harder, identifying flaws and trying to fix them. I think everything is so fragile right now, and that includes coaching staffs. When I go into coaching, coaches weren't making this kind of money and they didn't have agents. Everything is so fragile where it used to be team, team, team. I remember talking about it in a staff meeting 3 days ago. I got into this profession because I had the greatest high school coach, and it was all about team, all about the huddle. So it's not Urban Meyer's fault. It's that our society is too fragile. Too many betas, too many losers. A man like Urban is a dying breed.
He's got paleo mentality.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer would have crushed it as a caveman. In today's NFL, you have to be a big beta to succeed. That's why Dan Campbell didn't beat the Cardinals today, right, Big Cat?
Yes.
In Urban Meyer's brain, here are the problems that the Jaguars have. 1, they have losers. 2, certain coaches are making money, not Urban Meyer. When he talks about coaches and agents and no loyalty and going to wherever the highest paying job is at the best position for them, again, Urban Meyer is talking about everybody else, not himself.
Correct.
Urban Meyer would never go to a job just because of the money and leave behind a place that he had started to lay roots just because someone else was paying him more. So coaches making money who are not Urban Meyer is the problem.
I just love the fact that he can't just say, I sucked and I fucked up and it wasn't for me. No, society is fragile, and it's the coaches that are fragile that I picked, but the coaches are too fragile. He basically just called all of his coaching staff pussies on his way out.
Overpaid pussies.
Overpaid pussies. But yeah, this game was fun. Credit to the Jaguars and the Texans for putting on a fun game when no one expected it. Hank just sent us like maybe the most depressing tweet ever. A total of 40 touchdowns were scored across the NFL today, the fewest on a Sunday with at least 10 games since November 27th, 1994.
That sucks.
Damn.
40 touchdowns?
40 total touchdowns.
It's garbage.
That's, yeah.
And my under didn't hit.
Isn't that the worst when every game goes under and then you pick the one wrong one?
Yeah, that was bad.
Very
Hand
bad.
up.
Very
my
bad.
mistake. They also said that Trevor Lawrence wants input on the next coach. So he's getting input. Shad Khan says that they're gonna lean on Trevor Lawrence to try to figure out who he wants to coach him. So Dabo?
Ooh.
That'd be
Dabo
that'd be
doesn't like the
funny.
transfer portal.
That would be so funny if the Jaguars realized their mistake by hiring a highly touted college coach that's had a proven track record of success. And they're like, you know what? You know who we should get to replace this complete burnout that we had, this flame out of a head coach? Let's get another college coach.
Yes. I also think that the Jaguars are not paying Urban. And I don't know if Urban's even fighting it because he's probably like, yeah, you know what? I couldn't win this in
He's going to fight it.
You think
Urban,
he could win this in a court of law?
This is his new head coaching thing that he's doing right now. He's going to channel all his energy into fighting this in court because he wouldn't comment on any ongoing situation when NFL Network was sitting down with him. So it was actually a great plan by Shad Khan to not fire him for all the stuff that he could have fired him for and just wait for Urban Meyer to slip up, for his fingers to go into another butthole, and then be able to fire him for cause.
Yeah.
So when Lambeau came out and was like, yeah, he kicked me, I'm pretty sure that physically assaulting one of your players counts as for cause. So now you have enough evidence to just be like, okay, we're done here.
The Ohio State way, Woody Hayes, when he choked a Clemson player in the pool game.
I think he punched him in the face.
Yeah, he might punch him in the face. I'm thinking of Bobby Knight choking players. All right, next game. We got 3 left, afternoon games. 49ers, Falcons. I'm officially saying it. The 49ers might be my favorite team to watch play football. They are so much fucking fun to watch play football. Not only, like, their defense is now starting to really, like, hum with Bosa and everyone they got on. That Arden Key, that personal foul was such bullshit. Such bullshit. But then on the offensive side of the ball, George Kittle's a monster. Deebo Samuel might be the most electric player in the NFL. He's 10th for running backs touchdowns this year. He's a wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk is awesome. And Jimmy G is actually playing good football.
Say something nice about Jimmy G. He is now 7-0 in games where he doesn't throw an interception. And pay no mind to the fact that it's unreal that there are only 7 games in which Jimmy G has never thrown an interception. But in those games, he's won all of them.
He's won all of them. In the last 6 games, though, for real, Jimmy G's actually playing like really good. In the last 6 games, he's 5-1, 70%, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's got an average of 113 rating. Like, he's playing good football, and the 49ers are really fun to watch. There's something about the 49ers, that Deebo Samuel run for a touchdown, where they just block so well. I just love Kyle Shanahan. I'm back in love with the guy. I fell out of love. We had a rough patch where we took some time off in the middle of the season because I don't know what they were doing. I think it was maybe just because George Kittle was hurt. But I'm back in love. I love watching the 49ers play football. They are a legitimate, like, don't fuck with them in the playoffs team.
I think he just needs to get his groove back sometimes. Anytime he's in a slump, he needs to have Sean McVay on the schedule so he can just like fuck him up real good and remind himself, hey, you're Kyle Shanahan, you're a boss. You know, like get back into Kendall Roy moment where you're just staring in the mirror, just like amping yourself up at your own birthday party. That's when Kyle Shanahan is coaching with confidence, then the running game is a lot of fun to watch. You got the wide receivers that are laying people out there. You've got this game had 2 of the best running backs in the NFL in Deebo Samuel and Cordarrelle Patterson playing.
Yes. And I think it's, and it goes back to obviously his dad, Mike Shanahan. If you ever watched the Broncos in the 90s, they were so much fun with their running game. But it's something about the way they block, and then if they get like Deebo Samuel, it looks like he's shot out of a cannon because he has such a clear lane and he puts his foot in the ground and he just fucking boom. And I'm sounding like John Madden right now, but it makes me feel a certain way when I watch the 49ers really humming. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah. No, it is because it's the way that the offensive line sets up in the zone blocking scheme that they have set up where the offensive linemen, they're also getting shot out of a cannon towards the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
So they're getting downhill and running fast. And if I was an offensive lineman, that would be the coolest system ever to play in, where you just you drift off to the side a little bit and then you just get to run somebody's face over. And then you see the running back going past them and they're shot out of cannon because they're running so much faster than the offensive linemen are. It's almost like a slingshot type play.
Yes. And I always just like to like go back and look at Mike Shanahan, like those years when he just had like Orlandis Gary and Mike Anderson doing the Mile High Salute, like guys that were not
Reuben Drones.
Yeah, they weren't like incredible players, but they just were for that offense. And it's just, I don't know, Tatum Bell. I like Tatum Bell.
Yeah.
Tatum Bell was
Tatum
fast.
Bell's good.
He was really
Did they have
fast.
a Quentin? Did they have a Quentin at some point?
They had Reuben Drones, Quentin Griffin.
Yeah.
They had, all these guys that weren't anything special, and he just makes them special. And you see it. I mean, the 49ers are doing the same thing. Obviously, Deebo Samuel is special. The Falcons, they are officially, I think we alluded to it last week, they are officially, I'm going to say it right now, Atlanta Falcons fans, raise your banner. You are the best, worst team in the NFL.
Yep.
Officially. I looked through
Just
the
a
stats,
fact.
okay? I looked through the stats. Against teams that are 6-7 or better, so that includes obviously the Eagles and the Washington football team because those teams are, I would say, are good. Against teams that are 6-7 or better, they're 2-7, and 6 out of 7 of those losses were by double digits. And then teams that are bad, just objectively bad teams, they're 4-1. They just beat all the really bad teams, and when they play any team that's at 500 or above 500 or hovering around 500, they get the shit kicked out of them.
So there's a stat out there called DVOA, and I don't know what it is, except a lot of real smart football nerds use it. And I remember, what's his name? Richard Sherman used to always brag about the Seahawks finishing first place in defensive DVOA, which is like if football were played on a spreadsheet, that would be the team that wins the Super Bowl. The Falcons are the worst team in the NFL on DVOA.
Yeah.
The entire league. They are the worst team, but they can still make the playoffs, which is honestly, I think that's a testament to Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Because it means they're expending minimal energy on games that don't matter and maximum energy on all the others.
Yeah, they have, if you just go even non-nerd shit, just point differential, they're the 4th worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, they're
the
bad.
Lions have better point differential than them. It goes Falcons, Texans, Jaguars, Jets. Those are the worst 4 teams point differential. They just get shit pumped by good teams, and then when they play a bad team, they're more than competent enough to beat them. They are officially the best worst team.
It would be so fucking funny if they made the playoffs, though. It would be unquestionably the worst team.
I don't think they can.
They still can.
But
wait, who are they,
but
are
not
they playing
actually.
bad teams or good teams?
What?
Are they playing bad teams or good teams?
I think they still have to play some good teams. So
because that matters.
Yeah, I don't think they can. I think it's going to be pretty tough for them to make the playoffs. They play. I know they played the Bucks. No, they've already played the Bucks twice. They play the Lions, which actually the Lions are better than the Falcons. They play at the Bills and versus the Saints. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, probably not.
But they exceeded expectations. They absolutely did that. Hank, do you want to do your 4th down rant now, or you want to wait for the Ravens?
I'll stay for the Ravens.
Okay, all right. I figured that one hurt you more. All right, but I'm just excited to watch the 49ers. I like watching the 49ers. They make me happy to be a football fan. They play on Thursday night. I'm excited to watch that. That's it. That's all I got about the 49ers.
I like
they
the fact
actually
that
make me happy.
We'll talk about 4th downs later, but Arthur Smith went for some real weird 4th downs today.
And he just did pitch plays.
Really weird.
Yeah,
really bizarre 4th down play calls. I like it though. Like fuck it. Arthur Smith's like, I don't want to send a kicker out there. Like we're probably not going to make the playoffs anyways. Let's just go for it.
Put a pin in it, Jake. Put a pin in this. Put a reminder in this. Arthur Smith, I think we've told this story, but Arthur Smith, PFT and I have texted with him because Will Compton basically put us on blast after we made fun of his double chin. So seems like a very nice guy. We will have him on the show. If I end up having to drive to LA because I lose out and Billy beats me by a half a point or a point, I never want to speak to Arthur Smith, and I hope something bad happens to him. Because this over should have hit.
If you lose,
this
only
over,
if you get last.
Only if I lose to Billy by a point or a half a point. This over should have hit. He kept on calling 4th and goal, and he would just call crazy plays. It was crazy. This over should have hit. I like you, Arthur Smith, but I will have to put you in my graveyard, if my proverbial graveyard, not actual graveyard, if things go south here and I lose out to Billy by 1 game. Okay? That's fair, right? Like, you got to hold a grudge.
You can hold a grudge if you want. I'll interview him.
I'll interview him. I'll just be like, fuck you, dude, the whole time. Because, maybe, you know what? If I lose out to Billy by 1, let's do the interview, and I'll do it from the road. We'll do a Zoom so I can have my real fire in me, you know?
Yeah, windows down.
Right, and if I don't lose out to Billy, I like Arthur Smith, and I actually think he's doing a great job this year because the Falcons are not good, and he's got them somehow to win 6 games, so he's actually a very good coach.
So we've already established the link between Nick Sirianni and Matt Ryan because they're both included on that one dude's losers of the week list, right?
Yep. Pittsburgh Steelers.
But watching him play, like, do you actually see a team that needs a starting quarterback being like, I think I'll go with Matt Ryan?
If they
looks like he's spry.
Yeah. If they had a good offensive line, yes. Honestly. Because they have no weapons and they have no offensive line.
I would not do it.
I would do it if I had those two pieces. All right, before we get to our last two games, PFT, one last ad from our sponsors.
Yeah, the people at Truebill. I actually used Truebill a couple weeks ago. They are a service that it logs into your personal finances and it tells you where you're spending money, where you can push, where you can pull, how much money they can save you on subscriptions. I used Truebill to cancel a couple of subscriptions that I forgot that I was paying for every month. I'm going to save over $1,000 a year with Truebill. That's how much. It's a very effective way to monitor your personal finances. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/take. A lot of places, they get you to sign up. You don't even know that you're going to be subscribed to it. You think that you're doing a free subscription. 3-4 months later, you realize, oh yeah, these people have been billing me for the last couple months. That's kind of messed up. Don't fall for those. Go to truebill.com/take. Truebill.com/take. Get set up there. It's a new app. Helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions that you don't need, want, or ones that you simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year. Truebill. Companies make subscriptions too hard to cancel on purpose, but Truebill will take care of it. And they give you concierge too. So you might need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. Truebill's concierge is going to help you out. Go to truebill.com/take. That's truebill.com/take. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/take.
Okay, last two games. Bengals, Broncos. Bengals win an ugly one. Thoughts and prayers to Teddy Bridgewater. He's got to be the most well-liked guy in the NFL in terms of guys that have injuries that aren't on your team and you think oh my God, I hope he's okay. We did get Drew Lock. Drew Lock throwing a touchdown, then with a hilarious fumble in the red zone where the ball was just taken from him like he was a little child. But this game was not great, and it was just basically the Bengals did just enough and Joe Burrow did just enough on a day when their offense wasn't very good, but their defense played well.
Yeah, Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater on the same team. It's crazy whenever they play in the same game as each other because you won't find a team that has two quarterbacks that are less alike in playing style than Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. Just the way that Teddy is a very level-headed guy.
Yep.
And then Drew Lock gets in. He's like, fuck it. We're going full sin, boys. Crank the Yeezy because Drew Lock's back in the game. I get crossfaded watching them play in the same game. I'm like, I got my upper, I got my downer. What the fuck is going on right now? Drew Lock, when he got the ball taken away, he did have a sick chase down. He actually chased him down like DK Metcalf, got in front of him. The guy fumbled it. Now they brought that back because apparently the defensive lineman was down by contact when he first forced that fumble on Drew Lock. I think that so in a situation like that, where you fumble on the 20, they pick it up, return it 40 yards. And then if they fumble it before the end of the play and you recover it, I think the original down and distance should still be, I think it should be 3rd and 55.
Yeah.
I don't think that you should get a new set of downs at that point.
Agreed. Absolutely. Yeah, you should. Yeah, absolutely. Because it'd be funny down and distance and it'd just be you shouldn't get credit for it. It's like that, it's like the block punt against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
When the Broncos play the Cowboys. Yeah.
Because if you're Billy Football, you would be like, oh, that Bengals fumble recovery and return was as good as a punt.
Yes.
Because it just backed him up down the field.
This game,
I'm still stuck on the Browns on the Broncos from that Browns Thursday night game.
Yeah.
I still think that the Broncos suck, but they don't actually suck.
Their defense is good.
Their defense is good, and they're kind of boring to watch. And Javonte Williams is awesome.
Yeah.
But they don't suck. But I'm still in that mode where I'm watching that first half of that game against Case Keenum. I'm like, this team has 2 wins.
Yeah.
No, the Broncos they're pretty good. So credit to Joe Burrow for beating a good defense. He didn't have his best game today, but he had the best incompletion of the season that I've seen so far.
Yes.
He spun out a couple tackles and airmailed one over the sideline where it looked like he was going to get sacked for, I don't know, minus 11 yards. So best incompletion of the season award goes to Joe Burrow.
Ooh, wait, who had one? We'll have to review the tape on that. I think it
was a really good incompletion.
It was a very good incompletion. I know what play you're talking about. I feel like we had one other, but we'll give out the awards at the end of the season. We should just do that. Just all of our awards are just terrible plays that no one remembers.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals play the Ravens for supremacy in the AFC North next Sunday. It's going to be awesome. 1 o'clock, same as the Bills and Patriots. Like, next Sunday's slate is sick. Should we play Guess Whose Lines It Anyway? Ravens at Bengals.
Bengals by 3.
I'll go Bengals 2.5 just so I'm not the same, but I think 3 is probably right. Hank? Can you find it for us?
It is Bengals minus 2.5.
Okay.
Oh.
There it is. So, I mean, we can segue this into the Ravens-Packers game. Tyler Huntley, I like Tyler Huntley.
Yeah. He's fun.
He's ready for a crazy stat, blow your mind? First Ravens quarterback to throw for 2 touchdown passes and run for 2 touchdown passes.
The first Ravens quarterback?
Yep.
Kyle Bowler never did that?
Kyle Bowler never did that. Joe Flacco never did that. Trent Dilfer never did that.
I love Tyler Huntley. I do. I love watching him play. I think that, like, I made the joke, are the Ravens better without Lamar Jackson? Which, no, I don't think that they are, but they're not that much worse.
No. They like, that wasn't a fluke that the Ravens were in that game. He was balling out. And their defense made a couple stops at the end of the game, like where they got that punt. But that, I like Tyler Huntley. He should, as we always say, go get injured right now and have someone pay you a lot of money before you get exposed. But we've watched him 2 starts and a relief appearance in Cleveland. He's 2-0 as a starter, and he almost brought the Ravens back to win that game in Cleveland last week.
Yeah, I think he's a lot of fun to watch. He should just keep reminding people, I didn't go to UCLA, I went to Utah. I'm not Hundley.
Yes.
So a lot of people making that mistake. And also
that's Brett Hundley, yeah.
I think I'm a toe truther, Big Cat.
Okay.
I think I'm a toe truther. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers actually has a toe injury. I think that he did have a toe injury.
Wait. Are you saying Aaron Rodgers would lie about something?
I would never say that. No. And I don't think Aaron has done anything to indicate that he would, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers was under a lot of fire from a lot of people from the whole immunized versus vaccinated thing. And he was like, what's going to get all the freaks out there to stop complaining about my vaccination status? Okay. You know what I'll do? I'll put out a gross foot pic, and then everybody will talk about that picture. Rex Ryan's going to weigh in on it, make a little joke about himself. And then I'll say that I re-injured it, and I'll threaten to get surgery and go away for the year. But now guess what? The whole story is about how tough I'm being, playing on my fake broken toe, gutting out the end of the season. No one's talking about my vaccination status anymore.
Yeah, because you can't, like, if he's having long-term COVID effects, he basically neutralizes anyone making fun of him. I love this theory, and I think he should be back in prison, in jail. Because you know what he's doing?
Liar's prison.
Well, you know what it is people who do have long-term COVID effect, he's basically minimizing it. How are we to believe those people when Aaron Rodgers is lying like this?
But he's not saying that the toe is a long-term COVID effect.
Well, he's implying.
No. I think he actually said that it wasn't, because there was that speculation in the Wall Street Journal. Remember when everyone was like,
"Oh yeah,
he's got COVID toe."
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's actually a thing or if
it
was
is.
made up.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, but I think he said that it wasn't. It was just an unrelated broken toe. I don't think that his toe's fucked up. I don't think that he's like debating whether or not to have surgery on it. I don't think that it's that bad of an issue. I think he's okay. I think he's healthy, and he's just saying that he's got a fucked up foot.
Okay. This game made me nervous in the fact that Aaron Rodgers is playing like incredible. He's having another year where he probably will win MVP, especially with Brady like not scoring a touchdown tonight. That probably decided actually the MVP race tonight, as crazy as it sounds, because Brady, like, and if he loses these guys for the next couple of weeks, he's not going to be able to put up the numbers. So Rodgers is going to win another MVP, but I did see, and Packers fans, I don't know if you'll probably have some advanced stat that will tell me I'm wrong, and you know what? You probably go to the Super Bowl, probably win a Super Bowl. I saw a little crack in that defense that everyone's talking about, how that stat being thrown out there, the Packers have like a top 5 defense, top 5 offense. Their defense wasn't that great today. Right?
It was all right.
This is me. This is the stage I'm in. I would like to see some tweets from honest Packers fans tomorrow, you see what I'm seeing. You see what I'm seeing. And their special teams is garbage. But you see what I'm seeing.
No, the special teams is really bad. I think the defense is good, though.
But
their defensive line,
it's good, they
wreck people.
It's good, but Tyler Huntley he kind of did whatever he wanted.
Yeah, that's because Tyler Huntley is a very good player.
Okay, I'm just saying. Listen.
I'm
starting to pop up in my head again. Like I'm watching these Packers games, and I'm saying to myself, I don't know, Jim.
I mean, you get crushes on quarterbacks, right? I'm not talking about quarterbacks that are on your team, quarterbacks that you see elsewhere in the league, and you're like, that person's not locked up. I don't see a ring on that finger. They're not a franchise quarterback. They could be had at some point. Tyler Huntley is kind of that guy where it's like, I think I want that guy.
Yeah. He was awesome. He played great. I agree.
Also, I think Harbaugh is still scarred, like permanently scarred from Justin Tucker's missed extra point against the Saints. Remember that one back in like 2017?
Okay.
The first missed extra point that Justin Tucker ever had. We were watching it together, and I think I mushed it. I think I was like, oh, it's a tie game now.
That's
Joe
right.
Flacco just came back to tie the Saints.
Yes.
I think that's the reason more than analytics or his private conversations that he has with Lamar, where Lamar is like, go for it all the time. I think that's the reason why he goes for 2 at the end of games like that instead of just kicking a tying extra point.
Yeah. I want to hear from Hank. I'm going to do something real quick, Hank, while you have the floor on your anger about fourth downs. I'm going to text our good friend Aaron Nagler, who we should have on again, and I'm going to text him just simply, that's not a Super Bowl defense, and you know it, and see what he says. Because he's very truthful about the Packers. But go ahead, Hank. You're mad.
I said this in the group text earlier that I'm done with fourth downs. I was thinking about it more, too, because I think it's a combination of the fact that the Patriots have gone into the season like with a very conservative play calling offense. There's been, I don't know, like it seems like 100, like 4th and 1, 4th and 2 around the 50-yard line that they're just not going for. They punt it. It's frustrating. And then on the flip side, every other single coach just goes for every single 4th and like 3 from the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. I had the Ravens today. I had the Falcons today. So I was watching both of them simultaneously, just going crazy. Watch them just give up points, not get the 4th down conversions, and then lose the game by 1, when if they had just kicked field goals, they probably easily could have won that game.
Math.
Right. It adds up. It adds up. 3 points in the first quarter is usually equal to like 7 points at the end of the game.
And going for it, I don't agree with going for it, going for 2 at the end of the game. They had all the momentum. They had the best kicker in the league.
That's happened to you twice now, yeah, with the Ravens.
People saying it was the right decision, I disagree wholeheartedly and I said this, I'm not a math guy, I'm not an analytics guy, I'm not a stats guy. I know there's always like percentages and all that shit, but it's 50-50 for a 2-point conversion, right? Pretty much.
I think it's
Depending
a little
on
bit
the team.
higher, yeah, depending on how good your offense is.
It's lower for the Ravens this year, though. I think they're 2 for 7.
It's 50-50 if you win the coin flip. So the argument, like you don't want to give Aaron Rodgers the ball and not get a chance. It's 50-50 if you win the coin flip. And then if you don't win the coin flip, you might stop them and you might get the ball back and win. It seems like a much higher percentage chance to win the game if you just kick the extra point. And you have the best kicker in the league.
I like this because it's coming from Hank, not from a place of objectivity. It's coming from a place of a gambler scorned, which I think it unlocks.
No, but
I agree with it in a way. I don't think you have ever gotten to this point where you're actually seeing the flaws in the analytics clear if it wasn't from a place of anger. But I think that you're pointing out some actual blind spots that it has.
And Brandon Staley, it's just like in general, I feel like Big Cat's talked about it. I mean, you guys talked about it last week, but I'm wholeheartedly on the just get points when you can get points team from now on, unless you're down 14 or it's the fourth quarter.
What if you're down 9?
So Hank, I agree with
How
this.
much time's left?
Down 9, 4 minutes left.
What's the situation? 4th and what?
No, I'm saying you score a touchdown. Now I'm talking about going for 2. You score a touchdown to get down 9 with 4 minutes left. Do you kick a field goal?
No, you go for 2.
That's
field goal. That's extra point.
I agree with you because of Justin Tucker. That was my point a few weeks ago when they were playing the Steelers. Like, Justin Tucker is a weapon. If you can get one stop in overtime, you're probably going to win because of how good he is. So I also the only thing that was weird. I mean, I guess if you make the argument like backup quarterback, you come back, and Harbaugh, unlike Cliff Kingsbury, he's consistent. He knows what he's going to go for 2. Everyone knew he was going to go for 2. Like, that was very obvious. I thought there was too much time on the clock. If you get the 2-point conversion, then the Packers have 40 seconds and a timeout and Aaron Rodgers. Like, whereas if you kick the extra point, they probably just play for, you know what I mean? They probably try a first down pass. If it doesn't work, they play for overtime.
No, I don't think. I think they would still go for it. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out there and try to win the game no matter what.
I don't know. There's a lot less urgency if it's tied.
I think.
I mean, there has to be less.
Taken a couple.
There
shots.
has to be less urgency if it's tied. There just has to be.
I think they still would have tried to win the game in regulation.
They would have tried, but I'm saying they would have given up a lot quicker. Like, you don't give up if you. There's just a difference of being tied and knowing that you have the safety of overtime and being, down 1 and having to win the game in regulation.
I think that if you look back on the conversation we had last Thursday, which was extremely dumb, but also very insightful at the same time, when talking about how defenses have changed a little bit when it comes to the pressure that they have on 4th downs, I think that's actually very true. Offenses, they don't have as many good plays ready to go on 4th down. I think it applies more to that situation where it's coaches going for on 4th down than it does for the 2-point conversion at the end of games. But the problem with this conversion at the end of the game, I think, was the play call. If you look what happened before they actually went out there and ran the play, Harbaugh called 2 guys over to the sideline to talk about the play because they put the guys out there and then they had them fake a play to try to get them to jump off sides. Harbaugh then called 2 guys over to talk about the play that they were about to run. 1 was Huntley. Makes sense. 2 was Andrews. Who do you think they're going to pass the ball to if Harbaugh is like literally talking to the tight end and to the quarterback about what the 4th down or what the 2-point conversion play is going to be? And then they ran a play where, guess what? Andrews was double covered in the corner of the end zone.
And they cut the field in half, too, which made it harder for him. Yeah, because he rolled out right away. Our friend Aaron Nagler texted me back. He said, I'm fine winning the Super Bowl 45-40. So that makes me scared. But that also means that he's a little scared. Right?
Yeah.
Packers fans? I don't know. Jim. They do have some injuries, so they will get some guys back. But
there's also every time I flip back to this game, Mark Andrews was just diving across the end zone, making a catch. That's what he does.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's always doing that one little dive where he's got one knee down that's dragging across the ground, making a touchdown catch. That's how he lives.
Yeah, he was awesome. This game delivered. It was a great game to watch. I also think they if you noticed, I don't know if they do this for TV. Jake, you can maybe tell me. The first half went so fast that it caught up to the 4:05 games. I think they intentionally slowed down the second half. It kind of pissed me off.
Well, there's more commercial breaks. There's a quota for amount of breaks you need
There
to
it
take.
is. There it is. All right, so that wasn't that hard to figure out. That was just me being dumb. Okay, so yeah, I'm in official trying to poke holes in the Packers season because I'm very, very scared about how good they are. And this is basically will consume my every thought for the next month and a half, trying to watch the Packers and be like, ooh, that's a problem for them. Ooh, that's a problem for them. So that's where I'm at mentally. We should go to Football Guy of the Week, and then we'll wrap up with Who's Back of the Week. Billy.
Perfect. So congratulations to Coach Brian LePack, the Kansas State University recruiting coach who won last week's Football Guy of the Week. He was the one who said that he was looking for dudes who would go after Moby Dick in a rowboat and bring the tartar sauce with them. This week, our first nominee is Hunter Whitenack, an incoming offensive lineman to the University of Illinois. So he retweeted his commitment from the university, and they stated that he didn't have any stats because he was an offensive lineman because they post all their recruits, their stats, where they're from and everything. And he just goes, stats are overrated. Mauling people isn't. So that's a big Football Guy quote from him.
Okay.
So,
I like it.
Mauling people.
Yep.
Straight up mauling. Our second nominee this week is Spencer Brown, offensive lineman for the Bills. He chugged a beer before going out on his offensive drive in the Bills game, which is pretty sick. I mean, he didn't really drink it, but he just poured it all over himself.
Wait, was it like a fan's beer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
So
that.
the fan threw him a beer and he just chugged it and threw it all over himself. That's gonna be pretty funny. Like when you line up against the guy and he just smells like beer.
Yeah. Billy, you're our nutrition expert. If you drink one beer, if your entire offensive line drank one beer each, would that have any effect on them, positive or negative?
Well, you know who actually drinks beers before athletic events? Tyson Fury said that he drank a couple pints before his fight against Klitschko.
Yeah,
And
I don't
Joe
think
Buck.
he doesn't drink anymore though. I remember there's a couple
not
people who
anymore,
were
but-
like, "It's awkward that you ask a guy who doesn't drink if he drinks." I'm like, "Well, sorry, I didn't know."
Yeah. So I don't think he drinks anymore, but he was like boxers back in the day used to drink before fights. And, we haven't gotten that. It was pretty crazy, but I think it would be probably not too detrimental to drink one beer.
Because if you think about playing beer pong, nobody's good at beer pong sober, right?
That's a
They're good
fact.
at beer pong. You peak when you have a little buzz going. Do you think that quarterbacks or pitchers should just be slightly buzzed?
Yeah,
I do
Could
too.
work.
you think a little less. Don't think,
Yeah.
just throw. Okay,
Carson
who else?
Wentz should be drunk.
Yes.
He's a player that would definitely be served well from having I don't know, 3 brown ales before he goes out.
Yep.
I actually think Zach Wilson would be a little more relaxed if he played a little buzzed.
He would get drunk too easy.
Couldn't be
Tolerance too
worse,
low.
right?
Less doy plays. He hasn't had any doy plays the past 2 weeks, but in the beginning, he definitely had some nerves. Number 3 is Mac Brown, head coach of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So on quoting, if during the Mayo Bowl, because he's playing in the Mayo Bowl, if he'd get doused with mayo after the bowl, like a big tub of mayo,
Mhm.
he said, if we won a game, I'd let someone hit me in the face with a frying pan. I don't care.
The coaches actually did come to agreement that the winning coach would get doused in mayo. Like, it's official.
I
And
love that.
it's genius. Why wouldn't you do that if you're the Mayo Bowl? Like, people were going to watch. They had, I think, the Frisco Bowl. Kent State's coach, Sean Lewis, got doused in smoothie. It was like the
Hell yeah.
Frisco Smoothie Bowl. or
Smoothie King,
something. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, something
Yeah, no,
like
that,
that.
that's going to be awesome. So who are they playing against? It's North Carolina
And University of South Carolina.
and South. Yeah, I wish that Muschamp was around for that. I would love to see him get doused in mayo. He seems like a guy that would look. That's going to be an all-time Brazzers logo slapped to that screenshot.
Yes.
So our 4th nominees is a bunch of the Canadian offensive linemen on Texas State. So Texas State posted a photo shoot that their Canadian offensive linemen did in honor of Maple Syrup Day. So it turns out Texas State recruits Canada a lot. So they just have a picture of these 2 offensive linemen, Kyle Hagel and Liam Dobson, just dousing each other with maple syrup because they're offensive linemen. They love maple syrups and pancakes.
Love it.
Oh.
Wait, Billy, why do they love pancakes?
Because when they flatten someone on the ground,
What?
blocking, they call it a pancake block. So it's actually really great to have Canadian offensive linemen because.
But why are they drinking syrup? They're drinking syrup because they're Canadian.
And it was maple syrup day.
The pancakes. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for our old school football guy of the week story, we go to, so there's this really awesome Twitter account I found called Old NFL Stories.
Oh, so
That's
someone
really-
does your job for you. That's nice.
Well, I found this account. They do a really good job.
Billy found it. Big cat.
No one tagged you in it.
It's his.
No
it's
one
his
tagged
now.
you in it.
This account has 120 followers. I've literally found it. It's a really good.
I can't wait till someone hits us up tomorrow. PFT, make sure you look at your DMs. Someone's gonna be like,
Yeah,
I
I
sent
will.
this to Billy like 3 weeks ago.
Please DM me with a
No,
screenshot.
I
Yeah,
followed this account.
Billy
So
found it,
Found it.
so it's his.
They do really great work. I'm giving them credit because it would be scummier if I was just like, I found this story from this book. So here's a little out. So this is a story from a book published in 1970. Now I don't mean pro ball players were a bunch of drunks because they were not. They played tough football. We used to practice at 9 o'clock in the morning and get through about noon. And then about 3 times a week, we'd have a meeting at night. The afternoons generally were your own. I've seen more doggone fights among football players because they didn't have anything else to do. I've seen them even fight the owners. I remember that when the Bears were playing in San Francisco, Dutch Sterneman, who owned half of the club, got up in the dressing room and said that he was not going to start George Trafton, our center. George stood up and knocked Dutch right through the dressing room window onto the lawn. It was an insult in those days to tell a ball player he was not going to start or to take him out of the game. The only way you came out was to be dragged out with an injury preventing you from walking. So a dude punched an owner and knocked him out back in the day.
I love that. Yeah. I like it all. Apparently football back in the 40s was pretty much just the bunkhouse at the Yellowstone Ranch, where it's just like, okay, bunch of dudes in a room, they're going to fight.
And you might die.
You might die. Good luck.
And Yale wins all the national titles.
Like, imagine if Jerry Jones got knocked out by Ezekiel Elliott.
That would be a big story. That's a fact.
That's what's happening.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, vote for it. Blogs up, right? Blogs up?
Blogs up.
Blogs up. All right, let's finish up. We got Who's Back of the Week, brought to you by Cash App. Major announcement from Cash App. They're now introducing teen banking to the masses. If you're 13 plus, you need to download the Cash App now. You can send and transfer cash to your friends, little brother, little sister, little cousin. If you have kids and you're listening to this, you can use the Cash card, debit card, as well as any boost currently available. Teach them about how to use a debit card, banking, all that stuff. And just a heads up and a reminder to the teens, you won't be able to buy or sell stocks or Bitcoin. Download the Cash App, enter the referral code Barstool, you receive $10, and they will now send $10 to ASPCA when you download the Cash App from the App Store or Google Play Store today. Okay, Who's Back of the Week? Wrap us up, Hank.
My Who's Back of the Week is both of the Woodses, Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods. His son, Tiger Woods, is back after his injury. He played in a pro-am this weekend. And even though he was back, that usually steals the show, but his son played with him, and his son stole the show. He swings exactly like him. He does the club twirl. He's got all the swagger. He was hitting like unbelievable shots. I think they finished like minus 25 under. They had like 8 straight birdies on Sunday. Finished in second place, I think.
Yeah, you know who finished first?
It was the Dailies.
Yeah, the Dailies.
Yeah.
The Dailies. And you know that John Daly's son has been golfing with his dad since he was like probably 2 years old, just as a designated driver by the time they hit the back nine.
Yeah, oh yeah. But it was, I mean, it's crazy as good as Tiger Woods is. It's just crazy seeing the videos, the side-by-side comparisons, just the mannerisms and how they're exactly the same. And even the videos of like his son, like talking shit, like hitting big putts and like talking shit, sticking, like he had the best shot on a par 3 of any of the players that played in the whole tournament. It's crazy. It's just crazy that he really is that good.
You know what it is?
It's wild.
It's wild.
It is.
It's the definition of wild. That Tiger Woods, the greatest golfer of all time, has a son that golfs. That's wild.
And he golfs just like him. Yeah, no, Jake's right. Everything was just like a bunch of dads and sons walking around acting like each other.
Oh,
yeah.
It was wild. It was the wild
tournament. It was very wild. I'm just glad that as a society, we've learned from the dangers of putting Tiger in front of a camera since the time he was a young child and then pinning all of our hopes on him. And we're definitely not going to do that to his son, Charlie, right?
No, yeah, I'm sure he'll have a totally normal upbringing and be perfectly fine by the time he's, an adult.
Yeah, people were like saying that Charlie Woods not smiling like he's got the eye of the tiger. It's like, well, I mean, he is a kid. He should probably smile every now and then.
Yeah, it's okay for him to have fun. You're like, this is
but
awesome.
But then again, you know what? He'll probably
emotion.
be an incredible golfer, and he'll probably be like an unreal champion and be like, well, I probably should have smiled less as a kid.
Like, it's cool to root for Charlie Woods.
Yes.
But at the same time, the people who are like, I love this child, it's freaking me out a little bit.
A lot of bit. A lot of bit. It absolutely is.
I don't know. I said I kind of agree, but then I was watching the broadcast, and he really is. It's one of those things where it's like, if it was just Tiger Woods' son, yeah, but he's actually like,
he's good.
Nasty.
Yeah. Did you see this journalist? It was like total Big J golf journalist said, my takeaway from today is simply this. Tiger Woods is the most inspirational human being that's ever lived. He sprints when the world says he'll never walk. He marches on when the world says just give it up. He will win again. He is Tiger Woods.
That was Riggs?
That was Riggs.
Oh,
Is
It
that
was
actually
rigged. It was rigged. It was
my
rigged.
God.
I was gonna say, is that the same guy that nutted himself when Tiger caught that ball, even though he had the golf tee in his hand, and was like, "This seems like low-key the most athletic thing that I've ever seen in my life."
That was a perfect tweet from Riggs because I think he's 100% serious, but it was so over the top that you could also convince yourself that he's doing a shtick. So it's like, oh, that plays. But I think Riggs definitely meant every word of that.
Yes.
So it's a great gray zone to be in where everyone else can see it and be like, oh, that's a joke. But deep down, Riggs like wrote that in his diary and was like, I am so inspired by Tiger Woods.
That's how I feel about Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Tiger Woods is very inspirational.
He
Very
is.
inspirational. He overcame a car accident that still has very murky details on
Mhm.
what happened. That's very inspirational.
No, but that stuff's supposed to stay private.
It's just
It's just a funny
kinda
thing to
weird.
be like, he's inspirational.
It's just
I'm
weird to
happy
me how-
Tiger Woods is
how
back.
people are like zooming in on Charlie Woods and
Yes.
being like, "Show where I haven't seen Charlie on TV in 5 minutes. What's going on?"
Yeah, I'm very happy Tiger Woods is back. I love Tiger Woods. It's a joy to watch him play golf. His car crash was a little suspect.
Yeah, and it's like public. It's supposed to be public domain or whatever. I've read a few. I read like one article and a few tweet threads about how sketchy it is.
Yeah, but that's okay.
cover it?
Listen, no one got hurt, so no harm, no foul. Let's just say that. And I'm happy he is back. I truly am happy he's back. I mean, golf is like Tiger Woods is so much means so much to golf, and also golf is so much more fun when Tiger Woods is playing. So I hope he does compete for Masters and everything going forward. The odds are against him, but I'm rooting for it because it would be one of the greatest golf stories or one of the greatest sports stories of our lifetime was Tiger winning the Masters a few years ago. It absolutely was.
Yeah, that was incredible. That weekend, everybody was like glued to their TVs.
Yeah.
And he won it, I think, on the same day that he had won it earlier when his dad was there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great sports moment. All I'm saying is maybe let Charlie be a kid a little bit.
Or if he doesn't want to be,
Really, what does that mean though? Like
he's nasty at golf.
it's a pro-am tournament where the pros play with their sons. Like
It's just weird to be like,
no, you're
show
not
me-
saying
I need more Charlie on my TV.
You're not saying Charlie's weird. It's
No.
the people who are obsessing over him are a little weird.
like, let's not pin all your hopes and dreams about everything that you would have liked to accomplish in life on
Correct.
Charlie Woods.
Agreed.
Because that then hasn't worked out so well recently for Tiger when you did that to him.
Yes, agreed.
I mean, he won the Masters.
He did.
He did win the Masters.
many
Good
times. Many
Point
times.
well taken.
All right, PFT, your who's back?
I mean, Tiger was going to be my who's back of the week for sure. I'll just toss this one out there. I heard my first is Die Hard a Christmas movie debate today. I think Terry Bradshaw brought that one up. So you're dead to me if you have that debate.
It's
Dead.
Don't.
That debate is
Just
over.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. It's a
also,
hot dog is a sandwich. Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
even seen Die Hard.
Oh, it's a good movie, especially this
You
time
should
of year.
watch it. Yep,
Yeah.
it's nice. My other who's back of the week is North Dakota State University. They won in the Fargo Dome. Now, hand up, I was nervous going into this game because I was afraid of the weather in North. I was looking at weather scouting reports on my phone. I was telling the guys, I'm worried about this one. I don't know how JMU is going to be able to travel and deal with a 6-degree temperature in North Dakota. Forgot about the Fargo Dome. Forgot that it was inside. So I was very confused when they started showing the game, and everybody in that fucking dome is wearing like wool jackets. And so for a second, I assumed that it is outside until then I start seeing some people wearing t-shirts and I realized that it's in fact inside a dome.
Can I ask a question? So to break the fifth wall, whatever it is, on our Pardon My Take group chat on Friday night. So I got the booster on Friday. I was feeling like shit Friday night, so I was going to bed, and PFT asked me to do the thanks for coming out tweet for North Dakota or for JMU, and I was like, now's not the right time. I went to sleep before halftime, and I was like, Jake, you have my Twitter password. If PFT needs it, he'll ask, and you just do it. Did you? It was never even close in the second half?
No, it was close. There were some moments, but based on the flow of the game, I didn't feel like the thanks for coming out JMU tweet is not appropriate when JMU's down by 1 touchdown and they're driving with the ball.
Right.
You know?
So
it never really got to that point where I needed the extra boost. I would have used it if the situation was, but you don't want to abuse that power.
It was like the end of the first half when I was saying, like, if they stop them for a field goal, you can't use it. If they score a touchdown against you, you can use it because it doesn't. Damn, because I woke up the next morning and I had no more text messages. I was like, well, JMU definitely lost because the order for the tweet wasn't sent. Credit to me for letting Jake. I let you both have just free reign on my Twitter account.
Yeah, I didn't want to abuse that power. The situation did not feel right. And that North Dakota State team is a lot of fun to watch, but it was painful for me to watch it because they are built in every way that I personally would build a football team. And it was like watching my own design destroy me. It was a team that was all fullbacks. Their guy, Hunter Lepke, that guy's a real motherfucker. I looked at his Twitter bio. His Twitter bio is perfect for a fullback. Absolutely. His avatar or his profile picture was him in high school playing football. He's never tweeted once. He's never liked to tweet. He's from Wisconsin. And then he just destroyed me. And meanwhile, I don't know who the announcer was for this game, but all he kept saying was, this is neck roll football. This is big boy football.
Oh, no.
They've got 11 tight ends on the field. They've got 11 fullbacks on the field. This is big boy neck roll football over and over and over again. I have nobody to blame but myself. It was like, I can't even be mad about losing that game because the team's awesome. The only thing I'm saying is like, I'm counting this as a second place overall
I like that
victory for JMU because North Dakota State's going to win the chip.
All right, my who's back is women's volleyball because Wisconsin won the national title. No big deal. We did actually win a national title this weekend, unlike UPFT, but that was no big deal. Just took down Nebraska, which I didn't even know Nebraska, I guess, has like a dynasty in volleyball. News to me. Also, my who's back. Shout out to women, though. That was an awesome game. I watched the whole thing. Crazy sport. Don't understand the rules, especially when you're watching it on mute. But the Wisconsin ladies, I think they lost in the finals last year, so it was unfinished business. We have like a 6'8" and 6'9" center. Just awesome. Awesome team on Wisconsin. And then my other who's back is Nate Diaz. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but Nate Diaz, like 2 for flinching doesn't exist anymore because it's not as cool as what Nate Diaz did. If you didn't see the video, Nate Diaz, there's a guy, I guess, who was talking shit in the press conferences because Nate's like friend was fighting in the undercard for the Jake Paul fight, and there was a guy who was talking shit from the other camp, and he said that when he sees the Diaz brothers, it's on site, and that was when he saw the Diaz brothers that night. Nate Diaz, he fake punched the guy, like threw a fake punch, and the guy spilled his beer everywhere. It was incredible. Nate Diaz is the best.
I don't think that there's a guy that you less should be on site with than Nate Diaz.
Right.
Nate Diaz is like kind of halfway on site with everybody.
Right.
He's liable to be like, yeah, I'm on site with, like, being publicly declaring that you're going to punch Nate Diaz the next time you see him is a bad idea unless you actually intend on punching him the next time you see him.
Right.
And this guy definitely wanted no part. It was the biggest beer that I've ever seen too. So much beer exploded out of that thing.
Everything. All right, Billy.
My who's back of the week is Bishop Sycamore. So Ohio, the state, finally got around to investigating Bishop Sycamore and like, was it really a school? And what they found out is that they couldn't actually, Bishop Sycamore is kind of innocent. Under Ohio law, as it currently stands, Bishop Sycamore can continue to operate according to the investigative report. So Bishop Sycamore kind of absolved.
So they're really good at paperwork. So they've managed to escape. Now, are they actually a school?
Yeah, under Ohio state law, they are a school. So
Okay.
not a good school,
But
probably,
a school.
But basically the state can't shut down their program.
Okay.
So, and my other who's back of the week is the USFL. So turns out they're going to have spring football's back. The USFL is back. It's going to be around in the spring, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Call me when the XFL comes back.
They'll do this for the end of time, and
unless they want to offer me a tryout and actually let me play in the games, in which case I'll flip to the USFL so fucking fast.
They just want to keep doing this, and it's like March Madness exists, and it's awesome. Right,
Do
Jake?
you know anything about the schedule?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The best.
You can't play spring football. Football is we do 25 weeks of football. It's awesome. If you had football all year round, we would get sick of it. I'm saying it. I'm being honest.
I personally wouldn't. I would not get sick of
March
football.
Madness is
Billy,
awesome.
Do you know anything about the schedule? When does it kick off?
April 2022.
So it's after March Madness.
Okay, so it's NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs.
But it's all the old teams, like the New Jersey Generals are back.
There's other sports. I like
All right.
other sports.
I'm officially on team fuck the USFL unless
There we
they do
go.
let me kick in a game, in which
There we
case
go.
I'll be the biggest USFL guy in the history of the world.
I love football the most, but I do like to watch other sports from time to time, especially in March and like June and July when it's Stanley Cup playoffs. That's kind of fun. You know. All right, Jake, finish us off. Who's back?
My who's back of the week is Buck Showalter.
Yes.
The New York Mets have their manager. The fan base, they seem to overwhelmingly love it.
Frank the
which
Tank
means-
liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, which can only mean one thing.
Probably disaster.
Yeah.
But
I
Buck
like
Showalter,
though. He gets results.
he has the best manager name of all time.
Yeah, and he manages like his name sounds.
Yeah. He's
Like
Buck.
a throw. He's like basically from 1970.
Yeah.
You have the year 1970 coming to manage your team. It's going to be awesome.
His name is Buck, and you're in the show, and his last name's Showalter. It's the best. He's gonna have results. All right, that's good. Who's back? Because I agree with you, Jake, that it's probably gonna go poorly. Because having Mets Twitter agree on anything, like or be positive about something together, never happens. Never,
We
ever,
got
ever
Max
happens.
Scherzer.
Yeah, never. Happens.
What does Lenny Dykstra have to say about this?
I'm not sure.
Is he
I have to
alive?
Check in. Yes, he is. Numbers, Billy, you got any recap? Anything? Any stat? I have.
Do you remember?
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember my last animal fact about how coyotes
Yeah.
are basically Well,
Horse.
turns out our boss, Dave Portnoy, fell for it, thought they were some cute exotic creature, and they ran into his hotel room and ruined it, like the raccoons they actually are. He like ran into one down in Mexico.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy? But like it's such a coincidence.
That is a coincidence.
wild.
That's very
Literally
wild.
such a weird
You should hit him up. You should text him and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, boss, you need any help with these?"
Come take care of that.
Yeah.
yeah, well, they're basically raccoons.
Before we do numbers, I want to shout out the AWL Kevin, who is losing his mind. He emailed me. He's been guessing 22 every single time, and he's convinced that 22 is not in the lottery machine. He said that he's paused the in-studio shows, the last 15 of them, when there's been like a picture of the lottery machine in the back to like scour the numbers, and he hasn't been able to find 22. It took me 1 second. I found 22. It was in the machine, but I just want to prove it for him, for his own sanity. 22 is in the machine. This is 22. It's in the machine. But I thought that was funny that a guy's like, he literally sent me a bunch of screenshots being like, look, I'm looking. I don't see it in there. So he was losing his mind.
There's
I don't
100
want-
balls.
Yeah, I don't want him to lose his mind. He's been guessing 22 every time. All right, ready? If this is 22, this would be insane.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Six.
22.
All right, I'm guessing 22 too.
44.
69.
8.
I'll guess 81. We can't share a title.
We're due for 69 again.
Liam, what'd you guess? Oh,
6.
I got it. 81. Boom.
Damn.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Nice,
first
big cat.
timer, right?
First timer.
Bam.
All right.
Bang.
I'm jumping onto another first timer.
Balligami.
Balagami.
Origami.
How-
Oh, we had a halftime score origami today. I
Oh,
appreciated Jake disavowing it immediately.
How many balagamis we got left, Jake?
6, 20, 22, 26, 27, 29,
All right, too
49,
many.
51, 76, 78, 88.
We do
11.
this every time we get a balagami. I ask you that, and then you start rattling off a bunch of numbers. I'm like, too many.
We have 11
11.
left. 11
All right,
left.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Jake Paul today. Billy, you still want to fight him?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. He looks like he's a very good boxer.
Okay.
The
So he has defeated you.
He's beating you.
he's not
No, he
Yeah,
beat
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
when we first started out, like
No,
back
he
in
beat
the
you.
Nate Robinson days, I think
He
I could
beat you.
beat him. But now that I blog and sit in a chair all day and not really be that
All right, this is
active,
excuses.
he's definitely got.
All right, that's the show.
So Billy's 0-1 lifetime versus the Paul brothers. We'll just say both of them.
Yes.
Love you guys.